excuses why her wages were garnished because of your irresponsibility?
I had paid her back in 2009 for the garnishment.
You don't get it.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy. Michelle Nolan is suing her sister, Misty Talixon, for the value of a Toyota Scion she repossessed from her. Misty claims Michelle was irresponsible with her credit.
Come to order. All rise. Now it's case number 3 on the calendar in the matter of Nolan versus Talixon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Miss Nolan, this is your sister.
Correct.
And about 6 years ago, you purchased a car. You didn't have sufficient credit, so your sister co-signed on the car for you.
Correct.
And she was also on the title?
Yes.
The car was always in your possession. But over the last 6 years or 5.5 years, you acted very irresponsibly with regard to the car.
No.
Listen to me. Oh, yes, you acknowledge that. You had DMV problems, you owed them money, you didn't register the car, you got fines because of your irresponsible behavior. And that's according to your complaint. You want me to read it to you?
No, it's okay.
So you understand where you were irresponsible?
I do.
Because of your irresponsible behavior, on at least 2 occasions, your sister's wages were garnished because you don't have a job.
I have a job.
And why weren't your wages garnished?
Because I'm self-employed.
Then you don't have a job where they can garnish your wages. Only she did. So on 2 occasions, at least, they garnished her wages. And let's go back to the beginning of this scenario, Miss Nolan. The reason you needed a co-signer was because you had miserable credit to begin with.
No, that's not correct.
So that now your sister's credit also went south. Your sister finally got disgusted. And despite the fact that you had paid off the car, she took it back. And you are here because you want the car back.
Yeah, it's my car.
So the facts are relatively, they're a given. You had the car was paid off, was still in both names, her wages were garnished because you didn't do the right thing. You hadn't paid the registration. I planned on paying them when I got my tax returns, but I didn't. Misty's wages were garnished again. Okay, so how much in total did you pay to have your name cleared of any aggravation?
$1,757.
And your wages were garnished on 2 separate occasions?
Correct. The 3rd was supposed to take effect in February, but I paid all of the delinquent fees by then.
Just my own information. Do you know what your credit score was before?
When I qualified for my house a year ago, it was in the 700s. Now it's in the 500s.
Oh, God.
Can I say something?
Oh, I'd like to know who you are.
Michelle's boyfriend.
Boyfriend. Oh,
Yes.
I love boyfriends with big mouths. Stand up.
Perfect.
I'm listening.
Okay, well, back in March, actually, I've been around since Michelle had actually purchased the car. I was a friend of Michelle's before. Back in March of 2010, I actually called the tax board in front of Misty, and they wouldn't release no information to me nor Michelle.
They wouldn't listen to me very carefully.
Yeah.
They wouldn't release any information to me.
Okay, they wouldn't release any information to me. And then they told me exactly what Misty had to do to release.
Don't tell me what they told you.
All right. They told me to release all information.
They told me. I just told you, don't tell me anything somebody else told you.
Okay, all Misty had to do was fill out a backward paperwork.
Down. Do you dispute, Miss Nolan, that your sister paid $1,757 in back fines for you?
Yes.
Fine. Can you show that to me?
Yes. This is money paid out. There's smog check, DMV.
Why did you have to get a smog check?
The car had to be brought current so I can get it out of my name. All the delinquent fees had to be brought current, as well as the registration for 2011.
You non-opted. It didn't have to get a smog, and you didn't have to pay the 2011.
Just a minute. You want to give me excuses why on 3 separate occasions, almost 3, 2, almost 1 in February, that her wages were garnished because of your irresponsibility?
I had paid her back in 2009 for the garnishments.
That's
and
not,
then in 2010,
just a second, you don't get it. Paying her back for the garnishment doesn't prevent the aggravation.
It's something that I was trying to take care of. I needed her help on it as well. She signed the pink to me in 2010, releasing
Listen to me
reliability.
carefully.
It's my car.
Just a second. You're going to get your car back. As soon as you pay your sister the following, $1,757 because of your irresponsibility, and I am putting a figure on the amount of aggravation you caused her over the last 6 years, $500.
I actually sold the car in February.
Just a second.
Okay.
$1,750 plus $2,500 equals $4,250. What is the book value on... You sold the car?
Yes, for
You sold my car?
Just a second.
I sold the car for $1,500. It was completely damaged. I have pictures. I have a Kelly Blue Book of what that would be. The car is not $7,500 is what she's
That was
like.
fender damage. You sold my car. My car.
I got everything out of my name.
My car.
No longer have delinquent
Just a
fees.
second. Just shh. Listen to me. When was this done?
That was done the day that we took the car on
my work.
January 28th,
Stop.
2011.
What do you mean the day you took the car?
I repossessed the car January 28th, 2011.
Well, who did this?
She did.
I don't understand. She did.
When she had
Explain.
possession of the car, she ran into her boyfriend when they were having a fight. Without insurance on the car. I have 3 notifications that the car was not insured.
I have proof of
Just a
insurance.
second. Is what you're telling me that Miss Nolan caused this damage to the
correct.
car? Explain to me how that happened.
She showed up at my house one day a couple months ago, and that's how the car looked. I asked
you
her what
there?
happened. She
No.
said that she got into a car accident.
I'm going to dismiss your case. Stand.
Yes.
She said that she ran into somebody's car door that was open, and that was all she told me. So the day that I repossessed the car, that is still how the car looked. That is how the car looked when I sold it.
How do you say, Miss Nolan, this damage happened to the car?
That was from me.
Fine. And you sold the car to whom for $1,500? And you didn't
private-
have it fixed.
Well, no, but it's
Just a
fender
second.
damage.
You didn't have it fixed.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The car was worth practically nothing, and you owed her more money than the car was worth.
That is not true.
Oh, yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
No, I'm telling you that you did.
And later today,
You know how drunk you were? According to the police, when they finally caught you, because you ran out with no clothes and it was very cold, you began shouting, "No, stop hitting me."
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michelle Nolan says her sister, Misty Talixon, repossessed her car for no reason. Misty claims Michelle wasn't paying her tickets or her insurance premiums.
Okay, you sold the car for how much?
$1,500.
Fine. We're going to take $1,500 off the $4,250, $2,750. Now, give her on a counterclaim. You, on the other hand, get nothing. The car was worth practically nothing.
The car was
when
not
it
worth nothing.
And you owed her more money than the car was worth.
That is not true.
Oh, yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
No, I'm telling you that you did. I just found that you owed her $4,250.
So she
That's
can just
what you
take
owe her.
my car
She sure does.
without...
She sure does.
I tried paying her. I
She
paid her.
sure does. She gets to take your car because you're irresponsible. Irresponsible over 6 years.
She's not my mom.
Irresponsible over 6 years.
Not over 6 years.
How many years?
Since 2009.
No. Her first garnishment was when?
2009.
That means that it was before 2009. Yes, it was before 2009 because you don't get a garnishment right away. First, you have to go to a judgment before you get a garnishment. You're irresponsible, Miss Nolan. You don't get rewarded for that. Your case is dismissed. That's all.
Orders are excused. You may step out.
That girl right there, she's evil and she's a liar.
She doesn't see that she did anything wrong.
She's got a lot of bad karma coming to her.
In 2011, I was done, and I took the car back.
She's a sad, sad person.
I think she just needs to grow up.
We were actually best friends at one point.
Hopefully that we can reconcile and be friends someday.
Don't mix family with business, I guess.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Olander versus
Ethan Olander is suing his roommate's friend, Wade Eckeroth, for assaulting him after a night of heavy drinking. Nathan claims the attack was unprovoked.
Take your mind back, December 5th, 2010. Do we all remember that date? You remember?
I do.
You remember. You remember?
Yes, ma'am.
You remember.
Yes.
Everybody who was drinking raised their paw. 1, 2, 3. Not you.
No.
Any particular reason?
No.
Just didn't feel like it.
Just not much of a drinker.
Now, Mr. Rolander, how much were you drinking?
I had quite a bit.
And how much were you drinking?
I had a few beers.
Tell me what your problem is that you think that I should deal with.
On 1 o'clock in the morning, came home from the bar with my buddy.
After having had quite a bit to drink.
Yeah, I drank quite a few beers. And my roommate had friends over, and me and my buddy just hung out with them for about 2 hours before it all took place.
So after you got finished drinking at the bar, you came home and you were hanging out with the defendant in whose house?
Mine.
For about 2 hours. Did you continue drinking?
Yes, I had a few more beers.
Okay. So we continued the cycle.
Around.
How was horsing around? Describe
Goofing out
horsing.
for arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling. Just a second. Arm wrestling. Go ahead.
Yeah, just goofing around. That's
Goofing around. Girls don't goof around the same way that drunken guys do. They don't.
slapping each other on the back, video games, cards, arm wrestling.
Go ahead.
And then we sat down to play a video game, and right before we start playing the game, the defendant just sucker punches me and just repeatedly hits me in the face.
Just kept on punching you.
Kept punching me.
Like he went crazy, right? For no reason.
No
I mean,
reason
you were
that I can
home,
tell.
and you know him, right?
Yeah, I knew him from my roommate.
You know him, just for no reason. I think that's odd. Do you have a psychiatric history, Mr. Eckeroth?
No, ma'am.
Do you take any sort of psychotropic medication, any other medication that you're on?
No, ma'am.
Legal or illegal?
No, ma'am.
You just drink?
Occasionally.
Occasionally, but you were on December 10th.
Yes.
Okay. Now, he sucker punched you and?
Just repeatedly hit me and told my roommate called the cops. And then when he called the cops, the defendant ran. There was lots of blood everywhere. So I went to the bathroom to go clean it up. And that's when the police came, gave me an ambulance to go in, and sent me to the hospital.
And you had 6 stitches.
6 stitches in the ear.
Got some pictures?
I do not.
Got a hospital report?
Not a hospital report, no.
What do you have?
I just have the police report
I'd like to take a look at
and
that.
medical bills.
Who's Newman?
That's my witness. And it also says in there that
So, according to you, 2 people assaulted you. According to him, 2 people assaulted you. According to the police report, he was so drunk they couldn't even interview you. What's the name of the second person who you claim assaulted you?
it's the defendant's witness.
That would be him. Well, why aren't you suing him?
Because he was not the one that was punching me.
That's not what the police were told. By you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I mean, you think that I'm going to take this whole thing seriously? 4 drunks.
I was assaulted for no reason.
I don't know that. There was a fight.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Nathan Olander claims his roommate's friend, Wade Eckeroth, assaulted him while he was playing a video game.
Okay. So, an altercation developed. They were playing Tiger Woods on in the
Video game.
The other 2 people were on top of Nate, punching him in the head, according to Newman. That's you. He said he tried to pull one off Nate unsuccessfully, and eventually the 2 left for the parking lot. That's what you told the police.
It's a little different than that, Your Honor.
I'm just reading what the police memorialized, and that is consistent with Newman told me that he and Nate had been drinking and partying with 3 other males and 1 or 2 females. Eventually, a fight broke out between Nate and 2 of the males. He identified the 2 males as Wade Eckeroth and Jeremy Schlag, but was unable to identify the 3rd male. Mr. Newman, you told the police that you and Nate had been drinking and partying.
That's incorrect. I had... You stand up?
Yes, that's what it says. I'm just telling you what the police wrote down
Right.
based upon their interview.
Basically, Your Honor, what had happened is...
No, don't tell me what happened. They didn't ask you what happened. I'm telling you what the police memorialized on December 5th, and I'm not finished reading the report. Newman, the beginning, first officer, you told that his roommate had been beaten up by some guests they had in the apartment or outside in the parking lot. You know how drunk you were?
I wasn't very drunk.
Not according to the police. According to the police, when they finally caught you, because you ran out with no clothes and it was very cold. I mean, no heavy clothes. I don't mean naked. I mean, no clothes. And they took you into the emergency room, where I assume he was, probably to make an identification. You began shouting, "No, stop hitting me." He appeared extremely disoriented, was obviously intoxicated, and may have been suffering from the effects of time spent out in the extreme cold air, running from Officer McCormick. That would be you. I mean, you think that I'm going to take this whole thing seriously? 4 drunks. 4 drunks, including you, according to this. Didn't you show this to your witness before you handed this to me?
No, I didn't.
2 assaults, 1 minor, 1 more severe, were reported in this case. But both of the victims, Newman, that's you, and Nate, that's you, told us they didn't want to pursue criminal charges. Eckeroth fled from the police despite 4 shouted commands of police stop and was cited for misdemeanor violation. Nothing better to do than to take care of problems with drunken young people when they get out of control?
I was assaulted for no reason.
I don't know that. There was a fight. That's what it said.
Your Honor, to clarify, I had a beer prior when I was hanging out with the defendant and the defendant's witness.
Well, that's an interesting clarification, Mr. Newman, despite the fact when I asked you a very direct question when this case started, and I said who had been drinking, they raised their hands and not you.
It was many hours earlier. We had been hanging out
I
for
don't care whether it's many hours earlier.
But it was 1 single drink, Your Honor.
Listen, I don't know about that. As far as the police were concerned, what you told them was you had been drinking and partying with friends.
I had been.
Your statement, nobody else's.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't like drunken young men. Somebody gets hurt, who knows? Were you admitted to a psychiatric hospital?
No.
Were you held overnight?
No.
What did they do with you?
Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, I don't like drunken young men. Somebody gets hurt, who knows? Were you admitted to a psychiatric hospital?
No.
Were you held overnight?
No.
What did they do with you?
I just waited for a ride.
From whom?
My sister.
You called your sister at what time?
Like 4 in the morning. 33.
You called your sister 4 o'clock in the morning to get you from the hospital?
Correct.
Because you were drunk?
Correct.
How often has she done that before?
0.
How old are you?
30.
Ever have any DUIs?
2.
2. And what about you, Mr. Rolander?
Yes.
Goodbye. Case is dismissed.
What is our excuse, Mr. Papa?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
When he came home, he was real agitated and very aggressive.
I was drunk.
He actually ripped his shirt off like the Incredible Hulk.
Cut up in everybody's faces about everything.
Arm wrestled him, lost,
Arm wrestled a couple times, and he lost, and he walked away.
which made him, I'm sure, much more aggravated.
When we sat down to play the video game, everything was very calm.
Got in my face, telling me how much he didn't like me.
Then I got struck.
Next thing I know, I turned around, they're all fighting.
Pushed me, and I defended myself.
Getting hit repeatedly.
That was just instinct taking over, I guess.
It might have been taken advantage of, I think, a little bit by the defendant.
We were all drunk, so.
I was struck for no reason, and now I have medical bills to deal with.
I know how they are, and I know how he is, so actually that's why I actually stayed relatively sober, and I had the 1 drink, unfortunately.
His witness during intoxication.
I think guys just naturally do get a little bit more aggressive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It just got out of hand, and we were all drinking and being very irresponsible.
Don't be drinking so much.
As simple as that.
Simple.
Simple as that.
At my guests outside that we're calling them illegal aliens.
Words are met with action.
5 minutes later, I hear loud pounding on my door. I look through my peephole and it's her.
Why in the world did you go to her apartment?
Her boyfriend went downstairs with a bat.
And actions speak louder than words.
We fought, she hit me, and my glasses broke.
You're 17 years old and you have a 2-year-old child. That should be enough trouble for you.
Next Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
23-year-old Gabriela Molina is suing her neighbor, 17-year-old Xiomara Lopez, and her mother, Myrna Espinoza, for assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 552 on the calendar in the matter of Molina versus Espinosa.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be...
If the defendant assaulted you and broke your prescription glasses, you want her to be responsible for both things.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Espinosa indicates in her answer that you were actually the aggressor in this incident. So I'm going to ask you, on what date did this take place?
February 13 of 2011, ma'am.
And you and Ms. Espinosa, and I assume her family, is that your mother?
That's my mother, ma'am.
Live in the same apartment complex?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you lived there?
I lived there 2 years and a half.
And how long have you been living there?
More than like a year and 2 months.
Okay. Did you ever have any trouble, Miss Espinosa, with Miss Molina before?
No, we used to actually talk. We used to, me and her, also her husband and my boyfriend, we all used to talk before this incident on the 13th happened.
So, Miss Molina, why don't you start by telling me what happened on the 13th of February that precipitated this altercation?
It all started with our friends coming over to see a game at our apartment.
What time?
I believe it was about 12 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Afternoon. They were outside waiting for my boyfriend to go downstairs and open the door. As they were waiting outside, the defendant and her boyfriend were screaming vulgar things outside the window, from their window, which is in front of the building.
Were they screaming it at each other or at...
No, they were screaming at my guests outside. They were calling them illegal aliens, which in Spanish is...
How many guests did you
2,
have?
ma'am.
Did you know these people who were their guests?
No, ma'am.
Had you ever seen them before?
I've seen them before, yes.
Where?
In front of my building.
Doing what?
Waiting, I believe, for her boyfriend. I've talked to the girl that I've got the dispute with, and we already cleared everything out. And
I don't know what you're talking about, a girl that you had a dispute with.
Her friend, the one she said that's her guest, the one I got in the dispute with, we've got in the argument the day after everything got settled. Like,
yeah,
we
but
talked about
that's how it started. That's not the problem.
And I've...
Just a second. Tell me about what happened with these two people that got you irritated.
Me, my boyfriend, my grandmother, my son. I have a son, a 2-year-old, and my mother. We were in the house.
You're 17, you have a 2-year-old?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. So I have a son. We were in the house. I looked out the window. I heard Art, like, shouting, like somebody talking outside. You know, I'm the kind of person that when I hear something, I like to see out the window, you know. So I'm in the 3rd floor. I'm still in my apartment. So I'm looking out, and I see someone staring up to my window, her female friend. So we're just looking at each other, and then she's like, what the F are you looking at? I'm like, wait, you're looking up here. I'm still in my apartment, you know? So we had a little argument. We exchanged words. From there, I hear someone knocking on my door, like loud, pounding on my door. I look through my peephole. I look through my peephole, and it's her.
Okay.
Can I tell you what happened between that while she was arguing with her? She didn't mention that her boyfriend, the defendant's boyfriend, ran downstairs with a bat and threatened Reina's boyfriend, talking about, why are you disrespecting my girlfriend? What? People don't have the right to look around? You stuck your body out the window.
Just me, don't talk to her.
I'm sorry. It's just, you know, you have a 2-year-old, and you should be responsible for your actions.
You have 2 kids.
Exactly. And I'm not the one yelling at people on my window.
I'm going to give you one more chance, and then I'm throwing you both out. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You already have enough trouble. You're 17 years old, and you have a 2-year-old child. That should be enough trouble for you. And your mother.
Well, I graduated already. I'm doing something with my life, ma'am.
Listen to me. It's not a good start. It's not a good start to hang out the window and have attitude with a stranger downstairs when you have your 2-year-old child inside. I'm not excusing anything that happened here. I'm just letting you know you're not off to a terrific start.
Yeah.
I hope it's got a better finish. Is the boyfriend who was there the father of this 2-year-old?
Yes. 17.
Does he pay child support?
No, he's still with me. He still.
What do you mean he's
helps me.
still with you?
He still helps me. He brings income in my house, you know.
Does he live in your house?
Yes, he lives with me.
He lives with you and your mother?
Yes.
And your grandmother?
Yes.
Great. Now, Miss Molina, how old are you?
I'm 23, ma'am.
Let us assume for the moment that Miss Espinosa displayed the same kind of attitude that I'm catching from her on February 13th that she has today. Same body English. Why in the world did you go to her apartment?
The simple reason why I went to her apartment was because her boyfriend went downstairs with a bat and threatened my guest.
That requires a call to the police.
No, me as a neighbor, since we used to say hello.
No, Miss Molina, not a hello.
I should have.
Not a hello. Someone threatens a guest of yours with a dangerous instrument, potentially dangerous instrument, a baseball bat. The response to that is not to go to their apartment where the person with the weapon lives. The answer is to call the police.
Yeah.
So you didn't call the police.
No,
now, what happened when you went to the apartment?
I tried to speak to her.
No, not tried to speak. I don't want to hear tried to speak.
Do you want?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Just a second. So that's what she said,
That's what
and
she said.
I can imagine that that's exactly what she said and exactly the way she said it. What did you do?
I told her what was her problem. Why was she yelling at my guest? You know, to please let me know if there was some kind of incident before.
Yes.
Because
Go ahead.
Yeah, we spoke before. I didn't know that we had problems like that.
Yes.
So try to be nice to her.
No. Don't tell me what you tried to be. I just want to know what you said to her and what she said to you.
I told her what was her problem, and she told me, what the F was your problem? They were the ones looking up here. So I told her what was her problem, and we started arguing. I called, she told me that they were arguing because she was the one looking up to her apartment. That's when I told her, you should have better things to do than be yelling at people outside your window. You have a kid. Grow up. Stay in your house. Get a job. Why'd you quit your job to be on
No,
camera?
is that what you said to her?
Yeah, that's
Is that
exactly what I said, yes.
Great. Okay, and then what happened?
And then that's when she started spitting and screaming in my face.
No, that's not true.
Well, she started yelling right in my face, so I gently pushed her.
That's right.
And that's when her boyfriend pulled her inside the apartment and called the police because he was yelling, oh, you're a minor, call the police, she's older than you. So they called the police on me. The police arrived, and the police told me we both have the decision to
Miss Molina,
press charges.
listen to me. You're suing her.
Yes.
Because you said something happened at the door.
Right.
That's right. That's why you're suing. I don't care.
Okay.
That's why you're suing her.
Yes.
Because she broke your glasses.
She broke my glasses.
You put your hands on her first.
I gently pushed her.
I don't care whether you gently pushed her or flicked her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What was your boyfriend doing with a baseball bat? I asked you a question. I don't want an attitude look in your face. I expect an answer.
And later today,
she made a comment to me about if she died tonight, to come looking for her, basically. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, the guy that I'm going out with, I've never met before. And I'm like, why would you give some strange man that you met off of a Craigslist ad my address?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gabriela Molina says neighbor Xiomara Lopez broke her glasses during an assault.
Yeah, you went to her house angry, because if you weren't angry and couldn't control yourself, then you would have called the police if you actually felt that
since she was
you
my
and your
neighbor, I thought
family
we could
was
have
in danger.
resolved the problem.
No, then you don't do it at the heat of the moment.
I wasn't mad, ma'am. I had my phone in my hand. I was over there just speaking to her. She's the one who verbally just went crazy. I was just trying to speak to you nicely since we spoke before as neighbors.
Nicely.
I did.
Just
I spoke nicely. I had the phone. That's why my glasses were the ones knocked out. I never did no damage to her.
I don't.
No damage to her at all.
Are you trying to speak over me? You can't even control yourself here in court.
No, ma'am.
You can't control yourself here in court. Listen, Miss Attitude. Try to keep the neck straight. You can't control yourself here when it should be easy for you to control yourself.
It's fine.
You went over there because you were angry. And you banged at the door because you were angry. And you filed a complaint. Nothing in there said she was spitting at you. Nothing. You just made that up as you were standing here. You said that she was shouting and she was in your face. But you were in her apartment. You went to her space. And then you put your hands on her. And if you got the worst of the bargain, that's the way it goes. If your glasses got broken and she punched you in response to being pushed, that's what happens. Do you understand, sir? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, perfect sense.
Is there any reason why you didn't go to the apartment that day?
I don't like confrontations.
Right. Now you can sit down. Right. Confrontations are what we pay a police department fee. Now, what was your boyfriend doing with a baseball bat? I asked you a question. I don't want an attitude look in your face. I expect an answer.
Yeah,
What was the boyfriend doing with a baseball bat?
Well, he had the baseball bat. I'm not gonna lie, ma'am. But
you would have.
But
you would have.
No, but he never confronted the guy.
I didn't ask you what he never did. I said, what was he doing with a baseball bat?
He was gonna go downstairs and scare the guy.
Right. That's right. Trouble. She's trouble. Do you have other children?
Sí.
How many?
2 hembras.
2 more.
How old?
28 y 24.
28 and 24.
So she's the baby.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. The case is dismissed. That's all.
Hugs are excused. You may step out.
I talked to the girl that I got into and she told me she never sent her.
You know, just drama, pretty much.
So I think she had her own personal problem with me, you know.
Plain out and simple drama.
She came looking for the problems. I didn't go to her.
I don't know. That's probably just her attitude, you know?
Or took the glasses off of her face and broke them on purpose, you know.
No, there won't be no more problems. We haven't had problems ever since then.
It's done, it's done.
It was just a dumb accident.
Ford versus Moore. Step forward.
Carolyn Ford is suing her former roommate, Brenna Moore, for the return of rent and her tax refund check.
Miss Ford, the defendant was a friend of yours. You were looking for a place to live. You moved into her house. And it is your claim that she kept your income tax return check. And she did this in the following way. You had your income tax prepared by a tax preparer, and in order to get your refund without being charged an additional fee, you had to have it put directly into a bank account. Is that right?
Well, she prepared my tax return.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. So in order to get the refund back without the fee, it had to go into a bank account, yes, which you did not have.
Yes.
So far correct? You arranged, with your consent, to have your tax refund put directly in your account.
Correct.
Her tax refund did go into your account, and you did not turn it over to her.
Correct.
And that's what Miss Ford wants.
Yes.
Now, you were living at the time for a short time with the defendant.
Yes.
When did you start to live with her?
Roughly the 12th, 13th of February.
And when did you move out?
The 21st.
Of?
February.
A week later.
She threw everything out on the curb. She said that I went out on a date with somebody and that she didn't approve of me meeting strangers and it wasn't safe for her children.
And that, you sort of agree with that?
Yes, I do agree with that.
Okay. Ms. Moore, you have to explain to me why you think you're entitled to her income tax check.
Okay. Carolyn and I had an agreement that her income tax return would be deposited into my account to be $300 for the first month's rent and $500 for a security deposit.
Okay. That's reasonable. Go ahead.
Okay, so when she moved in, she had just come from her parents' home, and prior to living in her parents' house, she had been in a sober living facility.
And?
So I set the rules out straight from the get-go. The rules are there will be no alcohol in my house because I have 2 young children, and there will be, no partying. This is a family house, basically.
Okay.
And if any of those rules would be broken, she would be asked to move immediately, and she would forfeit any deposit, and there would be no return on her rent.
And?
She agreed.
And?
She had her tax return deposited into my account.
And?
Upon that agreement.
And?
So
There's no such word.
I'm sorry?
There's no such word as agreeance.
Oh, sorry. So she agreed, and on Saturday night, she about having a date, and if she died tonight, to come looking for her, basically. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, the guy that I'm going out with, I've never met before. And I'm like, where is he picking you up at? She's like, here. Why would you give some strange man that you met off of a Craigslist ad my address?
Okay, so you were annoyed at that.
I was very annoyed.
That wasn't part of your agreement.
That wasn't part of our agreement, but I was annoyed by it.
Just a minute. I can understand you would be annoyed with that.
So she went on a date. She spent the night with the guy. She texted me that she would be going to Vegas with the guy, that she would be home on Saturday to pack her things. When she came home on Saturday, I asked her to pack her things permanently and leave my home.
And?
And she said no. And she packed her overnight bag and went to Vegas and said, I'll be home Tuesday.
Okay, well, you understand you had no right to tell her she had to leave.
Well, at this point, I had no money from her.
Fine. You had an agreement.
We did
and
have
your
an
agreement was her tax return refund would go directly to your account to cover month's rent and $500 security. Correct. There was to be no drinking in the house, which she did not do, and no partying in the house, which she did not do. So she did not breach your agreement. And you agreed to accept her tenancy at that point by accepting her income tax refund.
Correct.
Well, I still haven't heard why you think you're entitled to her tax refund check.
Well, after I moved her stuff out of the house.
Yeah, you threw her stuff out, which you had no right to do.
On the curb, and it got wet.
You threw her stuff out.
After I moved her stuff out, this is what I found.
I don't care what you
in her
found.
room.
I don't care what you found.
She was drinking in my house.
I don't care what you found. After you breached the agreement, and you breached the agreement because you thought it was an exercise in poor judgment for her to give your home address to somebody that she was meeting through a dating service rather than meeting that person someplace else. But that wasn't part of your agreement. You breached the agreement by throwing her stuff out.
She breached our agreement,
No,
though.
you breached the agreement by throwing her property outside for no cause. So you breached the agreement and threw her stuff out and then proceeded to keep the money. You can't do that. Okay. Good. So your income tax check was $803?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Yeah, there was, when I moved in, my father gave me $300 cash, and I gave that to her that evening, and she accepted that from me, and she's denying that, and that I had in my claim with this.
Just stand up, sir. That's your daughter?
Yes, it is.
Do you recall a conversation you had with your daughter with regard to renting a room for Miss Moore?
The basic conversation was, it started out when we were actually driving to Bakersfield. She was on the cell phone, had it on speakerphone, and was talking to Miss Moore about renting the room. A $300 figure came up. I told my daughter that I would loan her the $300.
She's had some difficulty.
She has. So I figured I'd help her out, and hopefully she'd get on her feet.
Tell me about the $300, sir. When did you give it to her?
The evening that we dropped off her stuff. I gave it to her to give to Miss Moore.
Did you, in fact, give it to Miss Moore?
Yes, I did. And I actually saw her deposit it in the bank the next day.
Which bank did you go
Chase.
to with her? Is that where you do your banking at Chase?
I do bank at Chase.
Okay. You owe her $1,103. I don't even have to ask you if you took $300 from her. I believe you did. Judgment for plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You step out.
I breached the security deposit and the rent.
I got justice. I believe that I got scammed
by drinking in my home.
From a close friend that called me a friend.
Coors Light bottles, an empty vodka bottle.
She took pictures of that. I've been sober since...
miscellaneous cans and bottles just of alcohol.
January 17th, so that's a lie.
That she was obviously hiding.
I hope I never see her again, and that's it. Go separate.
Could you kindly explain to me what took you 2 years to sue her?
I was hoping she'd come to me.
Wishful thinking got her nowhere.
If you had insurance, your insurance would have paid for her medical bills.
Yes, if I hit her.
What will denial do for this driver?
You read the police report? You know what it says? It says that you hit her. I don't believe an otherwise normal person walks into a car.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy. Clara Davis is suing her neighbor, Linda Foley, for medical bills she incurred after Linda ran into her with her car.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 565 on the calendar in the matter Davis versus Foley.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Ms. Davis, it is your claim that over 2 years ago, the defendant hit you with her car. You want to be compensated not only for medical bills, but you want $5,000 because you say she injured you. Ms. Foley says that you actually walked into her. Are you driving?
I have a picture. It's not the actual car,
just
but
tell me.
It's the
what
2004
kind?
Kia Altima.
And that's the same car that you had in 2009?
Yes.
Did you have insurance on the car?
No, but can I please add something?
No.
Okay.
Just answer my questions. The car was uninsured.
Yes.
Now you can explain why the car was uninsured.
Well, I didn't know to the next day, to after the accident. I called the insurance company and they said I had a lapse in coverage on January 12th.
Because you didn't pay.
Because, yeah, I didn't pay.
Well, when you don't pay for insurance, that's what happens. They cancel your insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, so they canceled your insurance.
And I didn't find out.
You didn't find out? You didn't pay your insurance. You knew you didn't pay the insurance, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, on what date did this accident take place, Miss Davis?
February 21st, 2009.
Did the police respond to the accident?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see the police report. You have a copy of the police report? Did you lose your license?
No.
Did you advise the police that you didn't have insurance?
No, I didn't know I didn't have insurance.
When did you find out, Miss Davis, that...
Week after.
So 2 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you kindly explain to me what took you 2 years to sue her?
Because I was hoping that she would come and try to see and help me pay the bills, but she never did.
You mean the medical bills?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you can go and tell me, Miss Davis, what you say happened. Go ahead.
On February 21st, 2009, I was exiting my apartment building. I went south on Esther's Road, and this is the entrance to Linda Foley's. She has an entrance, and then there's the landscaping, and then this is the exit. So as I got here, Judge Judy, I could see that there was a car that was going really fast. So I stopped, like right here, like right there. And then as I stopped, the car stopped. So then I went across the driveway, and then the next thing I know, I woke up face down in the median in the street, and she had hit me.
Okay. So, tell me what you say happened.
Do I go up there?
Yes.
Okay. I was leaving for work, and I was going out, and there's a speed bump right here at the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen the lady, and she had a big red jacket. I waved her on. She didn't come on. She went like this. So I looked right, which is a one-way street anyways, but I still looked right. And then as soon as I looked right, I seen her just bump right into my car with her leg right here on this part of the car under the tire wheel of the driver's side, and threw her Coke can in the road and fell down, and then like she fell.
Go back.
Okay.
Let me read to you from the police report. You read the police report?
Mm-hmm.
You know what it says?
Mm-hmm.
It says that you hit her. That's what it says.
Yeah, it says
Yeah,
that.
Unit 1 was exiting westbound from Eagle Crescent apartment complex, turning northbound on Easters Road while stopped at the intersection. Unit 1, that would be you, failed to observe the pedestrian traveling northbound at the intersection. Unit 1, that would be you, failed to yield right-of-way to the pedestrian, and Unit 1 struck the left front quarter to the pedestrian. Now, your problem is, Miss Foley, if you had insurance, your insurance would have, when a car has an accident with a pedestrian, insurance companies usually find that it's the car's fault. Because unless I think she's crazy, and there was no indication here that she was drunk or under the influence of any substance, people usually don't like to walk into cars. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when for the first time did you approach the defendant about paying your medical bills?
I haven't approached her at all. I was hoping she'd come to me about the medical bills.
Well, if you have a police report, the police report gives you, madam, her insurance information, State Farm, with a policy number. Because at that time, she says she didn't know her policy had been canceled. So you have the police report, and you have the insurance and the policy information, and you've been hit by a car. How old are you?
I'm 49.
49 years old knows to contact an insurance company or to contact an attorney and say, I was hit by a car. Did you do that?
I did.
Just a second. Of course you did. You contacted an attorney, and the attorney tried to sue her?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the attorney sue her?
No, ma'am.
Because?
She wasn't insured.
Because she had no insurance.
No insurance.
And no money. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when were you advised by because she had no insurance and no money? On what date?
March of 09. I don't know the date.
Couldn't have been March of 09.
Well, she hit me February 21st, so it was...
I understand that. You went to see a lawyer on what date?
It had to have been right after, like March.
Are you talking? No. No. Let me see the documentation from your lawyer.
I don't have anything from him long-term.
Listen, Miss Davis, this incident occurred on February 21st, 2009. On what date did you go to the lawyer? February 22nd?
February 22nd.
So the next, just listen to me carefully. So the next day you went to the lawyer?
Yes.
And where did you get the lawyer from?
Out of the phone book.
Did you sign anything with the lawyer the next day?
I did. I did.
Do you know what you signed with the lawyer?
It was something like a declaration that would ask him to represent me.
No, it was something that said that whatever the lawyer recovered, the lawyer would keep probably a third.
Yes.
You know. Yes. We understand each other, Miss Davis. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, she may not have been looking where she was going. She's not behind a 2,000-pound machine. You are.
Yes, if I hit her.
And later today.
Did you have your son's consent to hire a private investigator?
No.
Did you have your brother's consent to hire a private investigator?
No.
Where do you come off to get involved in somebody else's matrimonial case?
Pedestrian Clara Davis says neighbor Linda Foley ran into her with her car. Linda claims it was Clara who ran into her.
So initially, you didn't wait so long because you were hoping she would come and ask you to pay the medical bills. You went to a lawyer immediately. You gave the lawyer her information, her name, her address, her insurance carrier, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you this question, Miss Davis. Subsequently, you found out from the lawyer that there was no insurance coverage.
Yes.
When?
When I contacted him, it probably took them a couple of days to find out that she hadn't gotten, when they got back to me, it probably took them a couple of days to get back to let me know that she had no coverage.
And who took you to the lawyer's office?
They came to my house.
So you called from the phone book and said, I was hit by a car, and the lawyer said, I'll come to your house.
Yes, ma'am.
And he did?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at that time, where were you working, February? Doing what?
It's a traumatic brain injury place as a resident assistant.
Are you still working there?
No, ma'am.
When did you stop working there?
In November of '09.
Where are you working now?
I'm unemployed.
Have you been unemployed since November of 2009?
No, ma'am.
How long had you worked for this traumatic brain injury unit?
I've been there about 11 months.
You mean prior to November of 2009, you were there for 11 months?
Yes.
Okay. Now I would like to see the medical reports that you have. Is this your usual medical provider, Baylor Medical Center?
That's where the ambulance took me.
Did you have any sort of insurance at that time?
No, ma'am.
The medical bill here, the charges are $8,634 on this bill. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay these people?
No, ma'am.
Did they reduce this to a judgment?
No, ma'am. Not that I know of.
What I find very odd is you're not even suing for these medical bills.
I'm suing for the medical bills. On my report, I have
$1,738 medicals is just from that visit. That's from January.
That's this year.
That's this year.
I had to go back.
Let me explain, Miss Davis. Without a medical doctor to tell me that your headaches or whatever else you suffered from, you are suffering from as a result of something that happened 2 years ago, I can't consider your medical bills in 2011 as having been caused by this 2-year-old accident. But you have $8,000 worth of medical bills from Baylor.
Yes.
And that you are actually entitled to. Well, Baylor is entitled to it.
Yes.
And as far as you know, Baylor has not been paid.
No, ma'am.
Well, then we'll just get the check made right payable to them. Okay. Isn't that a good idea?
Okay.
Great. You have to pay her medical bills. She shouldn't be behind the 8 ball for medical bills. That's your responsibility. If you failed to pay your insurance would have paid for her medical bills.
Yes, if I hit her.
Listen, let's be careful. If you had insurance 2 years ago, your insurance would have conducted an investigation. The police report, in all probability, would have been dispositive. The police report says you failed to yield to a pedestrian. I don't believe there was no indication in any of these reports that she was intoxicated in any way. Now, she may not have been looking where she was going. She's not behind a 2,000-pound machine. You are. That's your responsibility. I don't believe that you purposely hit her. I believe it was an accident. But when a car collides with a person, it is usually the car's fault. In this case, the police found it was your fault. That's what your insurance company would have determined, and they would have minimally paid her medical bills if you had insurance. You don't have insurance because you've negligently failed to pay your premium. Neither she nor Baylor, who provided services for her, should be out of pocket because you didn't have insurance as you were required to have by law. And you're lucky they let you have your license. And the only reason they let you have your license is because you told them that you had insurance, which was a lie. And the fact that you may have found out about it the next day, you certainly didn't call the police and rectify that, did you? And say, I didn't have insurance,
No.
right?
No.
Well, if you found out the next day that you didn't have insurance, why didn't you call the police and say, listen, the information that I gave you on the police report was wrong. I didn't have insurance. Why didn't you do that?
I didn't even think I had to.
Well,
because I
if you
figured
told them
a
you
lie
didn't.
at the time.
But you found out it was a lie the next day.
Well, not really a lie. I found out I lapsed.
Listen to me. You knew one thing. You knew you hadn't paid your insurance. That didn't come as a surprise to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
He had an agreement with you. The agreement was to act as a private investigator. Did you work for them?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you get any dirt that they wanted on this sister-in-law/daughter-in-law?
Pedestrian Clara Davis says neighbor Linda Foley ran into her with her car. Linda claims it was Clara who ran into her.
Now, people of your age know that when they don't pay for insurance, they cancel the insurance. That's what happens. You don't pay for your lights, they turn off the lights. You don't pay your rent, they kick you out on the street. You don't pay for the insurance, they cancel the insurance. It's as simple as that. Judge for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000 to be made to Baylor. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
When I got up, my knee was hurt.
She jumped up from the corner of where the tire was.
She never asked me one time how I was doing.
Banged on my window for like 5 minutes.
She cussed me out, called me the B word.
And I wouldn't come out of the car because the lady was acting so weird.
And told him to tell your auntie the next time.
Jumping and banging on the window.
She's crazy.
I just think she's got away with a scam.
and now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bodner Hall versus Mullins. Step forward.
Amber Bodner and her mother Carla Hall are suing private investigator Michael Mullins for the return of his fee. The plaintiffs claim Michael never delivered the information they paid him to find.
How are you two ladies related?
This is my mother.
All right. So this is what this complaint is about. You two ladies stuck your nose in where it didn't belong. Your son and your brother, same person. In the process of what was potentially a nasty custody battle as part of a divorce. You decided to stick your nose in a place where it didn't belong, and you hired the defendant, who was a private investigator, to gather dirt on your soon-to-be ex-sister-in-law and ex-daughter-in-law. You paid him on 3 separate occasions, and he failed to come up with any dirt on the subject. So far, correct?
Yes.
Right. And so you're suing him because you want your money back. That's what this case is about, right? Ridiculous. Did you have your son's consent to hire a private investigator?
No.
Did you have your... Where do you come off to get involved in somebody else's matrimonial case?
My nephew.
It's not your business.
Well, we're
not
family.
your business. That's what he has a father for.
My brother was stuck at home watching. My nephew.
That's what I just asked you. I said, did you have your brother's permission to hire a private investigator?
No, he was at home with my nephew. He had no idea what was going on. She just wasn't coming home.
Listen to me. Then you have a discussion with your brother and say, this is what we know. This is what we think. Maybe you want to hire an investigator. Maybe you want to take some action. You don't stick your nose in somebody else's business. It's not your business. Now, you paid him on 3 separate occasions. Were you satisfied with the quality of the material he gave you the first time?
No.
And so what do? You paid him again. Now, when you paid him the second installment, were you satisfied with what he did for you the first time and the second time?
He kept continually feeding us along.
Were you satisfied?
Well, so far we had been. I mean, he kept...
Good, so you were satisfied with the first time and the second time. You paid him the third time. So it was only the third time that you became dissatisfied?
It was when we got the report at the end.
Any information that you wanted?
It was no information at all.
There was no dirt?
No, there was dirt. He was verbally telling me there was dirt, and it wasn't in the report.
There was no dirt. That's what you get for sticking your nose where it doesn't belong.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to JudgeJudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, he doesn't have a contract to give you what you want. He had an agreement with you. And the agreement was to act as a private investigator. Did you work for them?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you get any dirt that they wanted on their sister-in-law / daughter-in-law?
No, ma'am, not what they were looking for.
Not what you were looking for. Your brother still married?
No.
He's divorced?
Yes.
And who has custody of the child?
They have shared custody.
Shared custody. And is that by agreement or court order?
They ended up agreeing to it.
Well, then they would have done that without your interference. Right?
Yep.
Goodbye.
Eyes excused, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He was stringing us along the entire time.
I couldn't answer to that except that everything was on the report that was needed for...
I'm almost there.
to give them.
And then nothing.
I don't really know. The evidence wasn't there.
Nothing ever came of anything.
I wish it had been for their sake.
He found the boyfriend's address.
But I think everything turned out well.
That was what we got.
With the case I was working on.
I don't believe we're allowed to say a whole lot about her.
I still feel they're basically good people.
I'm glad it's over.
I'm glad it's over too, yes.
A family fallout has these cousins keyed up.
All I care about is your keyed car. There is no question in your mind that the defendants were at the parking lot.
It was Yvonne, Janika, and Jaleesa.
But their story
She says she was at work. They were in some other place.
isn't working for the judge.
You're not supposed to lie in front of your children and make them co-conspirators in your lie.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-old Jasmine Crum is suing family members Yvonne Fultz and her daughters 17-year-old Jaleesa Granberry and 22-year-old Janika Williams for vandalizing her car.
Order. All rise.
Yes, case number 489 on the calendar, the matter of Crum versus Granberry Fultz Williams. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Crum, somehow you are related to these 3 young ladies.
Yes, Yvonne Fultz is my aunt, and...
Who's the aunt? Yes?
And Jaleesa and Janika are my cousins.
Are they your children?
Yes.
For some reason, there was a falling out with your aunt and her children, and it is your claim that one or all of them were responsible for keying your car.
Yes.
When was your car keyed?
December 10th in the parking lot of Walmart.
Who had driven the car there?
Yvonne was driving her vehicle.
Who had driven the keyed car?
Oh, I drove my car.
What time did you get to the parking lot?
I'd say I was probably there around 9:30ish because I just got off of work. And
9:30
in the morning.
AM. What kind of work do you do?
I do medical assistant.
Who was driving your car?
Your Honor, at that point in time, I was at work.
You were at work?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of car do you have?
2008 Kia Rio, black 4-door.
And where do you work?
At that time, I was working at Target Distribution in Woodbury, Minnesota.
You still working there?
No, ma'am.
Who was your supervisor?
My supervisor there was, I forgot her name because I'm not working there anymore.
Remember who your supervisor was and the phone number?
I don't have that with me right now.
Well, wait. Go get it.
Excuse me.
How old are you?
22.
And you?
17.
Where do you work?
Don't work right now.
What do you do?
I'm looking for employment.
What were you doing on December 10th, 2010?
I was at my cousin's house.
Cousin's house where?
In St. Paul, Minnesota.
And where is this Walmart parking lot?
It's in Blaine, Minnesota.
How far is that from St. Paul?
Like 50 minutes.
How did you get to St. Paul?
My cousin.
Came to pick you up?
Yes.
How long did you stay there?
I was there for like 3 days.
From when to when?
Saturday, and
Date?
I don't know what date it was because December 10th never happened at Walmart, and the 10th would have been a Monday.
I just asked you what date. You were visiting
I'm not sure.
with your cousin. I didn't ask you. December 10th did in fact happen. It was a day.
Yeah, I went over there before December 10th, and it was that weekend, so it was a Saturday. What I'm saying is December 10th, I don't know the date, but it was days before that.
Who went with you?
My sister and my daughter. She was suspended that day, so that's also why she was with me.
She was suspended? How old is your daughter?
No, my sister suspended from school, so we were together in St. Paul.
How old is your daughter?
She'll be 4 on April 21st.
Ms. Crump, can you tell me whether this was a trip that you had planned to make to Walmart?
Yes, indeed it was. I was going to go to Walmart to go shopping for Christmas shopping for my kids.
Yes.
And as I was on my way there, I saw Yvonne Carr following me.
Just a second. You have the phone number?
Yes, ma'am.
And the name of your supervisor?
Jill.
Just hand it to me. Thank you. So you were on your way to Walmart and you passed the defendant's car.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's when I seen her make a really quick right turn behind me. So I kept going, and at the time I'm on the phone with my mom too, saying like, oh, I see your sister and she's following me. And she's like, just keep going to where you're going. And I drove to Walmart, which was probably about a couple blocks from there. And once I got there, I noticed they were still behind me. So then I hurry up and parked.
Over there. Look at me.
So I hurry up and parked. And once I parked, they parked only about, I'd say, a few cars from me.
Who was in the car?
It was Yvonne, Janika, and Jaleesa.
Go ahead.
And my mom was on the phone, so I'm like, okay, they still here. Why are they here? So she said, just go into the Walmart. And before I get out of my car, I can hear them yelling, oh, I'm going to F this B up. If she don't get out the car, we'll break the windows and get her out. And if she just act funny or say something funny, we're going to beat her up.
So, Ms. Crump, there is no question in your mind that the defendants were at the Walmart parking lot on December 10th?
Correct.
That she was not at work at December 10th at 9:30 in the morning?
Correct.
And these two were not in, I don't know, visiting a cousin for a couple of days. They were with their mother?
Correct.
And I don't really have to get into what this family dispute was all about. I don't want to know. Okay. Suffice it to say, I assume that at one time you were a close family, and because of something, you're not a close family anymore.
Right.
And nobody knows how to just not be a close family without being destructive.
Exactly. Or violent.
I don't care. That's not my problem. I don't want to put this family back together. I don't care if you're not back together. All I care about is your keyed car.
Me too, exactly.
Now, did you go into the Walmart?
I did. I actually ran and afraid of being assaulted by them three. So I ran into Walmart.
And
the damages on my car.
And you did not see any of them key your car?
No, but I'm pretty sure they did it because
Just
they were
a second.
saying...
It's very easy to determine.
Okay.
Can I see pictures of your car, please? Would you show me where it was keyed? Are you talking about these marks here? I don't know. It's very hard when you do these blow-up pictures to see what you're talking about.
Circle where the damage is, please.
Did you take those pictures with your phone?
I did.
I'd like to see it in your phone rather than blown up so that I can't see a thing.
And you can just move your finger towards the left and it should keep going.
Got it. Now I got it.
Okay.
Much easier to see. Thank you. Okay. So far, there is no proof other than your statement that they were, in fact, there. You didn't see them do it, but certainly she says she was at work. They were in some other place. So if they were lying today, that's easy, right? Yvonne, right? If you were lying to me about not being at work.
I have no reason to lie, ma'am.
Great. And this supervisor would know whether or not you were at work on December 10th at 9:30 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You swore in an answer, I was at work. These two weren't with me. They were off someplace else because this one was suspended from school. You set a bad example. That's why she's suspended from school.
And later today,
Them raggedy bees keyed it, and I knew she was directing it towards us.
The raggedy bees were the two of you.
Yeah, well, she accused her
I
of
just
keying
want to
it.
know, the raggedy people that she was talking about were the two of you.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jasmine Crum says family members Yvonne Fultz and her daughters Jaleesa Granberry and Janika Williams keyed her car.
Jill, this is Judge Judy Scheindlin. Good morning. I'm in the middle of trying a case, and there was a date in question as to whether one of your former employees was actually working. The date is December the 10th, 2010, in the morning. Thank you, Jill. That week. Thank you very much, Jill. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye now. Not supposed to lie in front of your children.
That I don't do.
You're not supposed to lie in front of your children and make them co-conspirators in your lie. You understand?
Your Honor, I am
Do you
not a liar.
understand?
Maybe I have got a date wrong because I was working a lot of
Listen,
overtime.
don't tell me I have the date wrong.
No,
you know
no.
exactly why you're coming to court. You know exactly the date. You swore in an answer. I was at work. These two weren't with me. They were off someplace else because this one was suspended from school. You set a bad example. That's why she's suspended from school.
No, Your Honor.
No? You don't think so? Well, you weren't working on December 10th. How much did it cost to fix your car?
I have the repair damages.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
I'm not speaking to you.
I haven't gotten it fixed yet.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. That's all. Step out. Think twice about your mothering.
All you are excused. You may step out.
I'm pretty sure that they showed you all their drama right here.
18 and older who physically assaulted my daughter.
2 years ago, Yvonne cut me with a butcher knife here. She cut me here.
I've been up and down for months and months with all this harassment.
I think it's maybe jealousy on their side.
I have a son who's been shot by somebody on her authorized side of the family.
I filed a restraining order to keep them away from me and my children.
It was just crazy to me how they thought they was going to come in there and lie.
I wonder why she hated on us. We never did anything to her.
I have assault charges. I have restraining orders and everything.
It's just been going on and on and on, and there's so much hatred and stuff in between the families.
With them people, there is no family.
I'm glad we came to Judge Judy today to settle that, and for once, somebody spoke up for us, and it looks right.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lewis versus Rowe. Step forward.
20-year-old Shanae Lewis is suing former friend, 20-year-old Brianna Rowe, for keying her car. Shanae claims Brianna admitted to the crime on Facebook.
Miss Lewis, it is your claim that the defendant keyed your car, caused damage in the amount of about $2,500. Miss Rowe says she didn't do it. How do you know each other?
I know Brianna because we were friends in high school. We hung out with the same people and went to the same parties, so we...
All right, so that's how you know each other.
Correct.
When was your car vandalized?
In the summer, around July 2010.
What do you mean around July?
July 2010. No, I did not.
Do you remember where your car was?
Yes, I do.
Where was your car?
It was parked at a mutual friend's parking spot in an apartment.
Where?
In Citrus Heights, California.
What's the address?
I do not know the name of the apartment.
I didn't ask you the name. What's the address?
I do not know the address.
What do you know?
I know that my car was parked in a covered parking spot that was allowed by the owner of the apartment.
Well, you can't tell me if it was allowed by the owner of the apartment because that's hearsay.
Okay, well, my car was parked in a covered parking spot.
And?
And it was keyed.
And?
And I have proof that Brianna Rowe did it.
I'd like to see your proof.
Well, we were at a mutual friend.
Listen to me.
Yes.
I want to see your proof.
Okay, I have documents of the pictures of my car.
Listen to me. I want to see the proof.
Okay, here's the proof of my car.
I don't have to see the keys, car. You don't even know when it happened. I want to see proof that the defendant keyed your car.
Okay, well, she admitted on Facebook to doing it.
Let me see it.
This is the conversation right here, and it's highlighted right there.
Bert, you have younger children. Would it be possible for you to interpret this gibberish that is highlighted for me?
I'll give it a shot. I keyed your car because my best friend didn't like you, but I'm too grown to go bad on you on Facebook. I'll leave being ignorant to you. I guess anyway, have a nice day.
It's almost like reading Sanskrit.
Yes, I don't dig text speak, but I know it.
Could you show that to the defendant?
Yes.
Take a look at that. Is that your thesis?
Oh, I have one of these too.
Well, I'm asking you, is that yours?
Mm-hmm. Did I write it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you tell her you keyed her car?
Because she had made a post that said, Granddad is getting my car detailed.
That said what?
She was getting her car detailed and fixed after them raggedy bees keyed it, and I knew she was directing it towards us because she accused us of keying her car.
The raggedy bees were the two of you?
Yeah, well, she accused her of
I just want to
keying.
know, the raggedy people that she was talking about were the two of you. You knew that yourself without having been named. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Because she had already accused of us doing it.
So even though you weren't named, you decided to tell her that she was right, that you did in fact key her car. You told her why you keyed her car.
I wrote it to make her mad.
Well, why would you think, if she already knew that you and your raggedy friend were the ones that keyed her car, why did you think it would make her mad if you admitted it?
No, she thought Elena had keyed her car.
No. She talked about two raggedy people.
She didn't say how many.
No, she just said, she said after them.
Yes.
Well,
and then,
raggedy, and she uses the word with an S.
Mm-hmm. Plural.
That would be two.
Yes,
Two.
but
So
it was 3 of us at the house.
3 of you. Well, how many of you keyed the car?
None of us.
Well, then why would you admit to keying her car?
Because she accused us of it. After her car got keyed, she came in the house, threw papers at Elena, and told us we keyed her car.
There's something wrong with you. Honestly, there's something wrong with you. I mean, I can't get myself overly exercised about this case, quite frankly, Miss Lewis, because you don't even remember what date it happened. How many times has your car been keyed?
None.
Well, one.
Well, once.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
This is your Facebook page?
Yes.
And this is you with this bathing suit?
Yes, if that is a bathing suit.
Well, I just want to know.
Yes, that is me on up there.
Is there any reason why you think that this is an internet?
I did modeling, and that was a picture that I like, and I feel that I wanted to post it.
I need to take deep breaths. I need to take deep breaths.
It's only going to get worse.
Your Honor, me and the defendant had been friends before this happened.
The defendant and I had been friends also.
The defendant and I were friends before this happened. And the reason why I believe the motive that they had...
I don't care what their motive was. She admitted it. It's irrelevant to me what her motive was.
Okay.
I assume that you had some sort of a falling out. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Now I'll see the pictures of your car.
Okay.
When did you take these pictures of your car?
I took them when it happened, and then I took some more before I came.
And since you don't know exactly when this happened, sometime last summer, I assume you've been driving around with your car exactly the way it is?
Yes.
Do you have an estimate to have it fixed?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see. The car? She keyed it.
There's dent marks and scratch marks on
Very good.
That.
Yeah, okay. Could you explain to me why you filed this lawsuit for $2,500 and the estimate that you had was $15,000?
Because I am suing for, I believe that, for the scratches and for punitive damages.
For punitive damages for what?
Because every time that I have to drive around my car and have the word written on it, that's embarrassing for me to have to ride around and be disrespected like that. I have a newborn son, and I don't want that portrayed for me. I'm not.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
What do you have a newborn son for? I thought you went to school.
I do go to school.
Who takes care of your newborn son?
My grandmother.
Your grandmother?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, spend $500, get your car painted. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I did not key her car, but she's a broke ex-stripper that need a couple of dollars, so she's going to accuse the only person she can, which is me.
She talked way too much, man. She always has something to say, and she's a hypocrite.
Jealousy. They don't have cars, so they feel like they need to scratch other people's car to feel better about themselves.
She gonna tell me, after I found out I was pregnant, I need to get an abortion. But now she got a newborn baby.
I drive a nice car. They want to write, so maybe they feel like they're...
I told her I did it because I knew it would make her upset. I knew it would make her mad. I didn't know it would bring me to
friends when her car got keyed.
It affected our friendship because she was a close friend of mine.
It went out the window.
And I do love her, even after all this, but it is what it is.
Don't trust females with no cars.
Their divorce is pending.
This is not going to end well for either one of you.
And not a moment too soon.
We started calling each other names, and then I got tired of it. I called 911.
So all this name calling took place in front of your children?
Yes.
When I tried to leave, that's when he refused to let me out.
She called 911 saying that I locked her in the bathroom. The lock's inside.
He said that I had hit him.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
Euphemia Ione is suing the father of her children, Adrian Alcarez, for assaulting her during a custody exchange.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 13 on the calendar in the matter of Ione versus Alcarez.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Ione, how long have you and the defendant
Together for 14.
And you have children together?
Yes, we have
How
3.
many?
3.
How old are they?
I have a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
And you are currently in the process of divorcing, is that right?
That's correct.
Who will the children be living with?
We will be sharing custody of the children.
Is that right, sir?
That's correct.
How many days a week will they be living with you, sir?
5 days out of the week.
And how many days a week will they be living with you?
5 days as well. We'll alternate
well, that's
weekends.
10 days a week. There aren't 10 days in a week.
We'll
alternate weekends.
Every other week.
Yeah. It appears that if you were going to permit Miss Ione, your children who are 12, 8, and 3 to spend considerable time unsupervised with their father, I don't understand what you're doing here asking for damages as a result of your soon-to-be ex-husband assaulting you. That is a strange thing for me. Very, very strange. Not just sort of mind-boggling that if you think someone is abusive and violent, you would consent to, and at least appear to be in agreement with, children being in their unsupervised custody. So you have to explain that to me before you get to this incident, which I may hear and may not hear.
He's a great father.
Great. So what are you suing him for if he's a great father?
He's just not a good husband.
Well, he's a great father.
He's a great father, but he's not great with me.
He's not great with you. That's why you're not together anymore.
Yes.
Right. So what are you doing here? Do you know what she's doing here, Mr. Alcarez?
I thought she was suing me for some medical bills or something.
Yes, that's what she's doing. She's suing you for some medical bills. Do you know anything about that?
That's news to me. I didn't even know she went to the doctor.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a delivery driver.
And what do you do?
I'm an office manager.
Do you have protective orders against each other?
We did at one point, yes.
When was that?
This was in
February 28th.
Why did you tell me what happened on that date, Mr. Alcarez?
Prior to February 28th, which was that's a Monday, on that weekend, the 27th, 26th, and 25th, which was Friday, I was going to go to San Diego to sell one of my old cars. I already had a babysitter, but since me and her had come to an agreement that she had not seen the kids for a week, that it was okay for her to babysit my kids through the weekend.
Okay, so your children had been with you for the week.
Correct.
And you were going to stay with them for the weekend when he was away.
Yes.
Fine, keep going.
Okay. So Saturday when I'm packing all my stuff to go, I get a call saying that she's not going to take care of the kids because since I always ruin her plans, she's going to ruin my plans. So I said, well, I'm already halfway out and the kids are going to be here. So I said, okay. So I left.
So you left your 12-year-old in charge of the 8 and 3-year-old?
Yes.
Oh, that's not an answer. That's either yes or no.
Yes.
And what time did you leave the 12-year-old with the...
Sorry.
What time did you leave the 12-year-old with the 8 and 3-year-old?
Right about 4 o'clock p.m.
4 o'clock in the afternoon?
4 p.m., yes.
On Saturday?
Correct.
Keep going.
She was on her way back from work, so that's why I left them at that time. I left. Come Sunday, I get a bunch of phone calls from her saying I need to be back home because she has to go to some kind of training. And I called her back. I said, well, you told me you were cool for the weekend. You know, they were going to stay with the kids. So she said, no, you need to be here. You need to be here. So I rushed back. I got back about 6 p.m.
6 p.m. on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, so you got back at 6, and you walked in the door, and?
And so...
No, look at me. Don't look there.
Okay.
Look here.
I told her, okay, I'm here. Get out, you know, because she was already mad. And then she told me that I owe her money for not...
Stop playing with the papers.
She told me that I owe her money because she missed her training class, so for a no-show fee.
What kind of training class did you have?
I didn't have a training class. I had to go to work. But that wasn't an excuse. That's
just a second. He doesn't make up stories. He may do a lot of bad things, Miss Ion, but he doesn't make up stories. Trust me, training class and owing money. He may do a lot of bad things, a lot of things that you don't like. Do you understand? Perfect. Comes under the category, madam, of 14 years ago you picked him. You picked him to make 3 children with, right?
Yes.
So let's not play with each other, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so you came home at 6 o'clock and you were angry because you had to come back early and you started arguing with each other.
Correct.
And you told her to get out.
Right.
Because you were angry that you had to come back early.
Right.
All right, and this angry, telling the mother of your children to get out in an angry fashion took place in front of your 3 children.
Unfortunately, 2 of them, yes.
Well, I'm just telling you.
Right.
That's not being a good father. And if she was yelling at you and telling you that you owed her money in front of the children, that's not being a good mother. That you understand. Children don't have to be involved in your mistakes. They didn't ask to be born. You did that all on your own. So you're not put on earth to make them miserable during their growing up years because you can't get along with each other anymore. You don't like each other anymore. So you're not supposed to say bad things about him. You're not supposed to ask for money. You're not supposed to do anything that makes them feel badly about their father, and you're not supposed to be disrespectful to... Now, so you're telling her to get out, and she's telling you that you owe her money for some nonsense because she missed her training class.
Right.
Go ahead.
So then the argument escalated.
How did it escalate, Mr. Alvarez?
Well, from what I can remember, she was getting close for the children because she had my oldest son with her at that time at her place. So she was taking clothes from the basket for him, but at the same time, she was throwing my clothes on the floor. So I said, why would you do that? So I jumped up. I said, man, leave the stuff alone. She's like, I'm getting clothes for my son. I said, yeah, but you're throwing all my stuff on the floor. What's up with that? And so we started calling each other names, and then I got tired of it. I called 911. I said, because I know it's going to escalate even more.
So all this name calling took place in front of your children?
Yes.
And?
And so...
Look.
I'm thinking of what, like, how to say it.
Don't think with your eyeballs on the carpet. Think with your eyeballs on mine.
Okay. It's because I thought you were a little bit taller.
You think I'm taller? I am taller. I just give a short appearance.
Okay. Okay. So I called 911. I told them, look, we're arguing, we're fighting. I need you guys to come. Unfortunately, I have called 911 before, and every time they come, they tell me they can't do nothing because she leaves before they get there. So I told her, however, she ran in the bathroom and locked herself in there. And she called 911 and said that I locked her in the bathroom. But I said, how can I lock you in the bathroom when you locked yourself in the bathroom? The lock's inside.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
People don't drink in the morning unless they have a problem.
At the car shows, they do.
You know, I've been to the car shows. I never had cocktails in the morning. And I've been known to have a cocktail.
Okay.
And later today.
The engagement ring was given as an engagement ring. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You acknowledge that. Is that correct?
I do. However, California law,
Don't tell me. Listen to me carefully.
Euphemia Ione claims the father of her children, Adrian Alcarez, assaulted her during a custody exchange. Adrian says Euphemia is making up a story.
Go ahead.
So I'm standing outside with the other 911 officer and in front of my door saying, look, I'm in front of my door, and she's saying I ain't laying her out the bathroom, but she's in there screaming. So anyways,
all in front of you, 3 children?
2.
Which 2? 8 and 3?
8 and 3.
Where was the 12-year-old?
With at grandma's house at that time.
What was he doing at his grandmother's house? I thought he had been watching the 8 and 3-year-old.
I don't know. I guess he was he was downstairs, I guess. I thought he was... No, because he was watching the kids when I left.
But their grandmother's house?
Yeah, I just left them
okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Go ahead.
You threw me off on that one. Okay, so Sunday, anyway, the police comes, and they separate us. And they asked her to take the kids based on the fact that I was at a car show trying to sell my car, and I did drink a little bit. So they told her to take the kids.
Wait just a second. So when you came back from San Diego, you had some alcohol. Is not an answer.
I drank, yes.
I sort of knew that, Mr. Alcarez.
I was at a car show all day.
Who drove home?
I did.
Not smart.
But my drinking took place in the morning. I drove home in the evening.
You were drinking in the morning?
Yes. I got to the car show.
If you were drinking in the morning, you got a real problem, Mr. Alcarez.
No.
If you were drinking in the morning, I don't care where you were. People don't drink in the morning unless they have a problem.
At the car shows, they do.
At car shows, they do. You know, I've been to the car shows. I've been to the Javits Center to a car show. I've been to a lot of car shows. I never had cocktails in the morning. Got there at 10 o'clock before the crowds, but I never had a cocktail in the morning. And I've been known to have a cocktail.
Okay.
Do you drink when you're driving your truck?
No.
Don't look over there. See the eyeballs? Right here.
Oh, it's the light. It's the light that's hitting my eyes.
There have been over 6 same place where you are standing. Nobody has complained of lights in their eyes. It's the first time. You're a first. Do you understand?
Yes.
The reason you're having a problem in your home because of your drinking?
No.
Okay. Now you want to tell me what happened on February 28th? And let's skip the nonsense of, I absolutely believe him that you called him and said, I'm going to screw up your plans like you screwed up mine, because he doesn't make things up. He doesn't make things up about his drinking. He didn't make things up about others. I absolutely believe that you said that to him, because I absolutely believe that he has done that to your plans on occasion.
Several times, yes.
Yes.
But the reason for me calling him constantly is because when I went to go take care of my son and my daughter, I didn't have a car at the moment, so I got dropped off. That night, my son had a fever, kept having a fever for the whole entire night, and I kept calling him back. Said, you know what, I don't have a car. If he does get sick, what do I do? He pretty much didn't answer my call sometimes. I would call him all day, all night, and finally, when he showed up at 9 o'clock at night. And I was laying in bed with my son. He comes into where we're sleeping, pulls the blankets off of me. He told me, get the F out.
Had you told him to come home?
Yes, I did tell him to come home.
Okay. And then what happened?
So once he pulled the blankets up, I got my stuff and said, you know what, I don't need this. I'm going to grab my stuff and go. When I was heading for my purse, he grabbed my purse and started walking out the door and threw my purse out the patio area. So when I tried to reach for it to try to leave, that's when he closed the door on my body. At that time, we were going back and forth, arguing, and I said, you know what, I just want to leave. Just let me out, just let me out. At that point, I was so frustrated, crying. My child was there, he was crying, he didn't know what to do, he was shaking.
Let me ask you this question. What you're telling me is that you did nothing in this confrontation with him, that it was all him. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I understand. I did call him a lot of times. I mean, I called him so many times because I was, you know, I really wanted him. Yes. I was harassing him.
So you were harassing him to come home?
Yes.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now I'm calling 911 because you hit me.
That's what he said, yes.
Is that what happened? Don't go like this. I'm not interested in this.
And later today.
It's over.
Wow.
Finished.
And not even the damage to my car either?
After he damaged your car, did you share a bed with him?
Euphemia Ione claims the father of her children, Adrian Alcarez, assaulted her during a custody exchange. Adrian says Euphemia is making up a story.
Now, that doesn't excuse. On Sunday, he took your purse and threw it out the door. Now, when somebody takes your pocketbook and throws it out the door, that suggests to a normal person that he wants you to follow your purse.
I did.
Just a second. That suggests to me that all he wants you to do is to get out. because otherwise there'll be no other reason for him to throw your purse outside on the porch. But that didn't happen. So what I'm trying to figure out is, I know that he probably behaved badly on February 28th, and I want to know what you did.
Oh, we were just pretty much arguing and calling each other's names at that point. When I tried to leave, that's when he refused to let me out.
You mean he just threw your purse out?
He threw my purse, and when I was heading out the door, that's when he closed the door. He's like, no, you're not leaving, because he said that I had hit him.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Now, Miss Aon, we're getting somewhere. So he threw your purse out the door.
Yes.
And then he said, now you're not going anywhere because you hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I'm calling 911 because you hit me.
That's what he said, yes.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what happened? Don't go like this. I'm not interested in this,
No,
sir.
she didn't hit me. She did not hit me.
You see where we're going, sir? This is not going to end well for either one of you.
I called 911.
Purse out the door. You throw her purse out the door because you want her to leave.
Right.
Now, I don't care if you want somebody else to pay your medical bills, madam. But if there was a fight inside, and a domestic fight inside the house, I don't know what you're doing here.
Well,
that's why I said she didn't hit me, because if she would have hit me, I would have hit her back and I would have got arrested. Nobody got arrested for nothing. The police came. I threw her purse out because she was throwing my clothes on the floor. She tried to come back in. I closed the door, and I think she put her leg right in front of the door, and I think it got jammed in the door, but I don't know. I don't know if that was...
And that's what happened. You had a fight. And if you thought it was anything more than that, madam, you would not have consented to him having joint custody of your children. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Case is over. Get a divorce. Resolve your custody issues. List whatever bills you have as marital debt.
I have
pay them jointly.
I've
pay them jointly.
Days at work for this.
Pay them jointly. Do you understand? Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The abuse, verbal, mental.
I'm still here. If I abused her, I would have been arrested.
It's been going on for years.
Just hard head, both of us.
Go around and just decide to hit me whenever he wants to, and...
She wants her things work her way, I want things my way.
Play it off like he didn't do anything.
We just bump head too much.
I don't know. I'm just pretty much try to stay away from him, that's all.
And now the next case. Doug Wagner is suing his ex-girlfriend, Kathy Mold, for the return of an engagement ring and a mattress. Kathy is countersuing for unpaid rent and food costs.
Mr. Wagner, you and the defendant were engaged to be married. Didn't work out. You moved out. You want the engagement ring back. Some other nonsense. One of the things that, in addition to the ring, that you want back is a mattress that you purchased because you moved in together. The defendant, with regard to the mattress, says that she got rid of her old mattress because you moved in this new mattress and you took the old mattress someplace to use in your office. In any event, when you moved in together and you bought the mattress, she got rid of her old one, so you shared the new one. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, then you don't get the mattress back. But you did get the engagement ring back because the engagement ring was given as an engagement ring. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You acknowledge that. Is that correct?
I do. However, California law, it
Don't tell me,
says...
listen to me carefully.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, this is an ecumenical court. We deal with a lot of jurisdictions.
Okay.
So the right thing to do when you have a contract to marry and an engagement ring is given in contemplation of that contract to marry, nobody wants to get married if it's not going to work out. So why should you have the ring? It didn't work out. You have to give him the ring back.
Okay.
Great. That's easy.
Okay.
You tried. It didn't work out. So you get the ring back. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. You don't get the mattress. That's sort of ridiculous. Now, the next thing that I have to deal with is the defendant's counterclaim, which is also ridiculous. You were living together. She waived some rent, she says, because you agreed to put in hardwood floors. You didn't put in the hardwood floors before you moved out, so now you should pay the rent and some food that she paid for you while you...
That he even said he was going to pay for.
It's over.
Wow.
Finished. Give him back his ring.
Well, he could use
go
people,
look
that's
on
nice.
for somebody else.
Yeah.
You can move on and look for somebody else.
And not even the damage to my car either?
Just a second. After he damaged your car by putting something up against it,
right?
Did you share a bed with him?
Yeah.
Goodbye. Get your ring back.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He wanted to leave, and you know what? I wasn't going to force him to stay.
She has anger issues.
And then he wanted to have a relationship with me outside.
You can see by her demeanor.
You know what? I have no respect for him, so I couldn't have a relationship with him.
What kind of person she is.
I don't even want to talk to him, and I don't want him texting me.
What I dealt with.
Or calling me, or having anything to do with me.
For a while, and I was done with it.
I think he's the epitome of scum.
She is a woman scorned.
And you know what? Karma's a bigger than I'll ever be.
On their honeymoon. You're the dog sitter.
A new puppy for their new life together.
The pills were in my bag, and the dogs had gotten in there and gotten them.
Now, life will never be the same.
The dog ingested the medication, ultimately had to be euthanized.
And a dog sitter takes a stand.
Whose fault was it that the dog took the medication?
Not my fault. It's the dog's fault.
She's a moron.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
Joseph and Kat, 21-year-old Krista Kat Edmonds, for the death of their dog. The Grants claim the dog ate medication belonging to Kat's boyfriend.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 518 on the calendar, the matter of Grant versus Edmonds.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Edmonds, where's your boyfriend?
He's at home.
What does he take muscle relaxant pills for?
He got back surgery, and he needs them for that.
When did he have back surgery?
About 4 months ago.
And what kind of muscle relaxants does he take?
He was taking baclofen.
And is that what Mr. and Mrs. Grant's dog ingested while you were dog sitting?
Yes.
So that means, I assume, that your boyfriend was staying at their house with you while you were dog sitting.
My boyfriend came over a couple times.
So that your boyfriend was staying at the house, because otherwise, if he had back surgery and muscle relaxants, he wouldn't have left the medication at home unless he was staying there.
I had extra medication.
Just, let's not play with each other. If you had extra medication, you'll give me the name of the doctor who gave you extra medication.
Not for me. It was his medication. So
you'll give me the name of the doctor who gave you extra medication so he could have muscle relaxant medication all over where he was staying. Your house, his mother's house. Play with each other. So your boyfriend was staying over there while you were house sitting and dog sitting for Mr. and Mrs. Grant while they were on their honeymoon. So far correct?
Yes.
Well, well, what?
We were told that he had multiple sclerosis.
Listen to me. Don't give me minutia. Look at the big picture of what I'm saying to you. Is anything that I said inaccurate?
No, Your Honor, it's not.
Fine. And while you were babysitting for the dog with the boyfriend, you negligently, or the boyfriend negligently, left the medication available so that the dog ingested the medication, ultimately had to be euthanized. But before the dog was euthanized, there was a vet bill that was run up in the amount of...
It was initially $7,500. I negotiated down to $6,500, and then we had pet insurance that paid another $2,000. So it's $4,500 plus some incidental cost.
And that's what they want you to pay to the vet, because it was as a result of your negligence.
Your Honor.
I'm just laying out the case. Is that pretty much the case?
That's very accurate, yes.
Okay. So now you're going to tell me, Miss Edmonds, when did you start house sitting and pet sitting for the Grants?
I don't know the exact date. I don't have any of that information on me.
Do you have the approximate date?
September.
Don't ask me. I don't know. Do you know what date it was?
I'm sorry.
It was November 22nd. It was the week of Thanksgiving.
And on what date did you find the dog unresponsive and had to be taken to the vet?
I found him, I believe it was 2 days after Thanksgiving.
Go ahead.
When I came home from work, the pills had been locked in the bathroom and the dogs didn't get them. The dogs had gotten into the bathroom, into my stuff, into the bottles.
How could they have gotten into a locked bathroom?
It wasn't locked, it was a slider door.
Well, you said locked.
It was a bathroom that I kept my stuff in there. It wasn't locked, I'm sorry. Okay? It wasn't locked, but I had kept my stuff in there for 3 days, and they hadn't gone in there at all. At all. But the day I came home...
It's your fault!
It's not my fault. It's an accident.
Oh, listen to me.
I didn't keep
Listen to me. That's not an on purpose. Do you drive a car?
Yes.
Do you have insurance?
Yes.
Why do you have insurance?
In case anything happens.
No, in case you have a...
Accident.
Right. That's not what we call an on purpose. That's an accident. Now, an accident is something that you don't intend to happen. You don't intend to hit somebody with your car. You don't intend to hit another car with your car. You don't intend to run over a person with your car. That's called an accident. And because we are afraid that our car can be taken away, our homes can be taken away, our wages garnished, takes care of
accidents.
Not on purposes. There's a difference between an on purpose and an accident. This was, in fact, an accident, not an on purpose. There is no question in my mind, Miss Edmonds, that you did not intend for their dog to ingest your boyfriend's medication. I want you to understand that. I don't believe that you did this on purpose. It was an accident. Now, when you are driving in your car and you're not paying attention and you hit another car, who is responsible?
Me.
Because the accident was?
My fault.
Right. You see how easy this is becoming, Miss Edmonds?
Can I say something?
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
The dog is not as smart as you are. They don't know not to eat the muscle relaxants. That's why when you're in charge, you're supposed to be responsible. Now do we understand? Perfect. Now you can tell me what you want to tell me.
Okay. I don't think that I'm liable for this because they were on vacation and they waited 2 days to come home. I wasn't able to do anything as far as the decisions go.
So what you're telling me is that it was your fault that the accidentally left either the door open to the bathroom or left the medication at a place where the dog was able to get it inside or outside the bathroom, but that it was ultimately their fault for not coming home earlier on their vacation once they were notified that the dog was in the hospital. That's what you're telling me. Shh.
I know.
That's what you're telling me.
It's not what I'm telling you, Honor. So
tell me, whose fault was it that the dog was able to get the medication?
It's my fault ultimately, but...
That's perfect. Let's go step by step. Whose fault was it that the dog was able to get the medication?
Mine.
Mine. And whose fault was it that the dog took the medication?
Not my fault.
The dog's fault. No, I want to know. It had to be. They were on their honeymoon. You're the dog sitter. So it was either your fault, your boyfriend's fault, or the dog's fault. Because that's the only people that were there, right? You, the boyfriend, and the dog.
Right.
Whose fault was it?
It's the dog's fault.
The dog's fault. She's in moron.
Thank you.
Judge Judy continues.
Miss Edmonds and I had a discussion just now. Maybe something I said pierced her hair.
And later today.
I want you to just try to hold on to yourself. When I come to you, you'll answer my questions. Right now, it's my monologue.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joseph and Catherine Grant claim pet sitter Cat Edmonds is responsible for the death of their dog, Guinness. The Grants say Guinness ate medication belonging to Cat's boyfriend.
Let me see the vet bill.
Here's the final bill there. Now, in reference to us coming home 2 days later, we were unavailable on phone and checked our email sporadically. And this all happened early Sunday morning, late Saturday night, and we checked our email Sunday late afternoon, and that's when we got the information. Called the vet at that point, got the whole story, and we were taking the red eye on Monday to come home. And so that was basically the earliest that we could have gotten there. So I know it's
I don't
irrelevant to the
think
case,
that you actually bear any responsibility whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't accept negligence on that part,
No.
but I'm just saying that we're not heartless people. We loved our
you would have
dog, and we
you
wanted
would
to
have
rush home. So
would have come home.
yeah.
It's not my fault syndrome. But I actually think that after Miss Edmonds and I had a discussion just now, maybe something I said pierced her hair, and she understands that it was her fault that the medication was left out.
Right.
Just as if, Miss Edmonds, if you were babysitting for a 2-year-old and you were sitting and messing around with your boyfriend on the sofa, and the 2-year-old managed to get into your pocketbook, which was left in a place where the 2-year-old could get it, and ingested this medication.
I don't think that's a likely situation, though. It's completely different. They're in
You don't think,
childproof
just a second,
bottles.
you don't think that that's a likely situation?
No.
That happens all the time.
2-year-olds need to be attended
Listen,
to.
listen to me. Not by people who are foolish.
I'm sorry, I don't believe
Not
I was
by
foolish.
peop- Yes, you're foolish. You're foolish to have at least expressed in writing and then said to me that it was the dog's fault that he
I
took the
can't
medication.
control the dog.
It was the dog's fault. So I'm trying
It's not my fault because I didn't give him the medication. I didn't give it to him like it was treats. Okay, sit. Yeah, here's a treat.
Do you have children?
No, I don't, but I have dogs.
Perfect. Try to keep it that way. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,500.
Step out. It was just a tragic situation.
Because it's not my fault.
But she is ultimately responsible for it.
I didn't give the dog the pills. I didn't do anything.
We can't be financially responsible for that.
I feel responsible, but I don't feel like I need to pay for it.
We lost our dog, which is tragedy enough.
No more pills, no more dog sitting.
And then to have this on top of it, I think justice was served today, and I'm glad that we came to Judge Judy.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kaplan versus Crawford. Step forward, please.
Felice Kaplan is suing her former friend, Chris Crawford, for loans to pay his rent and to buy a laptop computer.
Mr. Crawford, what kind of a relationship did you have with Miss Kaplan?
It was a friendship. I've known Miss Kaplan for years. I met
How
her
long?
About 8 years.
And when you say you have a friendship, you went out for dinner together?
We went out to dinner together. We went to movie premieres, Directors Guild, watched movies.
How did you get to the Directors Guild?
I think she's in the guild, and she would invite me when they would have movies there.
No, that's not how I met him. I met him.
How did you get to the Directors Guild?
Oh, because my son is an actor, and I have something through the Film SAG Society or something, and I go as his guest.
Okay. It is your claim, Miss Kaplan, that you advanced some money to Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Some was a loan for rent, and some was the balance of a credit card purchase of a computer.
Right.
Mr. Crawford says that both things, you don't have to agree with me.
I'm not agreeing. I'm just stipulating.
You can't stipulate. You know what that means, Mr. Crawford, what stipulating means? That means when you both agree on something. She doesn't agree that these things were gifts. So you can't stipulate. So I want you to just try to hold on to yourself. When I come to you, you'll answer my questions. Right now, it's my monologue. First, Miss Kaplan, I want you to tell me about the computer.
Okay. The truth is I'm not so wealthy that I could just
Listen to me.
Okay.
You want to do a tryout, talk to your son. You want to go someplace else and talk about things, find a therapist.
Believe me, it's not so easy to do.
All I want to know is, how did the computer come about, when you purchased it, how much it cost, how much he paid back, and how much is owed. So let's start with when you purchased it.
Okay, I purchased it around December 31st, 2009. I have the receipt when I purchased it.
Where did you purchase it from?
At Best Buy, over near...
Who was there when you purchased it?
Just me and the Best Buy
Just
employee.
you?
Yes.
So Mr. Crawford was
Oh, no,
not...
I'm sorry. Mr. Crawford was there. He picked it out. I'm so sorry.
You see, if you weren't so busy trying to do what you're doing, you were when you purchased it.
I was there, and Mr. Crawford was present.
Mr. Crawford, were you there when it was purchased?
I was there.
And who picked it out?
She told me to pick out what I liked. I picked out the computer.
Who picked it out?
I did pick it out.
Okay. Now, Mr. Crawford, in December of 2009, you had already known Ms. Kaplan for about 7 years.
Correct.
And she took you to premieres, and you went out for dinner, and you did other things. Now, I want you to think of the last time you bought Miss Kaplan a gift.
Her birthday.
And when was that?
June.
Don't look at her.
June.
And don't ask me. I don't know when Miss
I believe
Kaplan's
it's June.
birthday is.
In June.
June of 2009.
2009.
June of 2009.
Yeah. No, 2010.
So 6 months after she purchased the computer for you, you bought her a birthday present.
Because she wouldn't leave me.
What did you buy her?
I don't know what I bought her.
Okay. So 8 years that you've known her, you bought her nothing, and so far she has purchased this computer that she put on her credit card. How much was the computer?
The total came to $734.72, Your Honor.
How much did he pay you back?
Okay, I'm not sure exactly how much he paid me, but I know that the balance due.
Her back.
Just
I
a
gave her
minute.
what I could.
Just a second. Miss Kaplan.
She's speaking to me.
I was in no position to pay her back.
Listen to me.
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
speaking to you.
Please stop interrupting her.
I'm not speaking to you. How do you know what the balance due was if you don't know how much he paid you back?
No.
Unless what you're saying. Hey, Miss Kaplan, let's not play with me, please.
I'm not playing with you.
Yeah, listen to me.
He would pay $145 a month.
Just a second. Would he pay that directly to Best Buy?
No, he wouldn't. He would mail it to me, and then I would mail it to Best Buy because I had other purchases from Best Buy also.
Oh, then I can't help you, Miss Kaplan.
That's not fair.
Listen to me very carefully, madam. You don't have any other purchases on the Best Buy card because when I say to you, how much did he pay you back? You said, I don't know.
It's
You
not
said he
fair
paid-
because I had a piece of paper, and every month I would write down, and he would write down, and he would initial it.
Oh, show
Yes.
me.
How could I initial if I was in Hawaii?
Because he started
Listen to
long
me.
before he
Listen
went to
to me.
Hawaii.
Hey, listen to me. Show me the paper with his initials.
I don't have the paper on me right now, but I'm telling you, it was $1,450.
Miss
But
Kaplan.
it's the truth.
Miss
Can I at least show
Kaplan.
you the $1,150
Miss Kaplan.
for the loan
Miss
for the rent?
Kaplan, if you don't stop, I'm going to dismiss your whole case. Do you understand?
Yes. Okay.
Now let's get to the $1,250 in a check that you gave him. When did you give it to him?
Okay, I have the check here.
When did you give it to him?
On February 17th, 2010 for $1,150.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving him that check.
The circumstances were, as he said, we met at a place of his...
I don't care where you met. I said 2010. That was 7 years after you met. Tell me the circumstances surrounding the check.
I wrote him the check because he got fired from his job for being intoxicated. I gave him money to pay his rent because he told me he had no rent. So as a friend...
Just a second. May I see the check, please?
Yes.
And I wasn't intoxicated. I quit my job.
They fired you.
I quit.
No, sorry. Miss Kaplan, I can't help you, my dear.
His signature is on the back of it. He'll even admit that I gave that to him. He'll admit that that was his check. He admitted it to me that he needed help with the rent.
Just a second. A, this check is made out to cash. B, and there is no signature on the back of it.
There is. Scribbled wrong.
Your Honor, I did take the check and I cashed it.
He admits it.
But it was under her terms
Just
that
a
I
second.
not go to
Can
Hawaii,
I ask you,
but I
can
didn't
I
want to
ask
do
you a
that.
question?
See?
Why would any normal person that wasn't demented say to a judge who was just dismissing the case because there was no proof that that check was taken by you, I did take the check and I cashed it? Why would it? Would you explain that to me?
Your Honor, because it was
honest.
a gift. The check was a gift. And under the condition and the terms, number one, I was
No,
not...
it's not my question to you, sir. Are you not following me?
Because I
Are
needed
you
the money.
pickled?
Who wouldn't
Are
take the
you
money? But it
pickled?
was a gift.
Listen to me carefully. That's not my question. My question to you, Mr. Crawford, is why would you tell the judge who was just showing Miss Kaplan the door because she has no proof that you cashed that check? Why would you acknowledge to the judge that, yes, I did take the check and I did cash it and I used the money, but it was a gift? Why wouldn't you just keep your mouth shut? That's my question. You have an answer for that?
I hang around her too much. I guess I don't know how to do that.
Oh, so now I have to be blamed for him being mentally nuts.
You are defective. Goodbye, folks.
But, Your Honor, the condition of the check
You may step
was
out.
not alone. We're friends, but
So I want to help him out, and then he kicked me over it.
it was a controlling thing.
You can sue friends.
Because I moved to Hawaii, there could be no longer
People divorce their wives and love them at one time, right?
be a control issue.
I've learned not to lend people so much money.
And I think that's where she flipped the lid.
Woohoo!
he saw you in his apartment pouring bleach.
The ultimate alibi?
Your Honor, of course not. I'm a law student, and I would not jeopardize my career over nothing that's silly.
But when the judge examines this student's knowledge...
You're in law school? What year? First, second, third?
Third.
I'm going to allow you to speculate as to what his possible motive could be.
Can she pass the test?
I wasn't there, Your Honor.
You're not answering my question, Miss Hill.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
25-year-old Misha Hill is suing her ex-boyfriend, 24-year-old Richard McDougal, for an unpaid loan. Richard is countersuing, claiming Misha bleached his belongings and vandalized his car.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 562 on the calendar, the matter of Hill versus McDougal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Hill, Mr. McDougal is your former boyfriend, and your complaint alleges that you made a loan to him of $580 for down payment on a car. Shortly thereafter you broke up. You want your money back. Mr. McDougal says the money was a gift, but more importantly, Mr. McDougal has a counterclaim, and he says that you and your boyfriend vandalized his property severely. He's got something to show me, and I assume it's some sort of a video. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So before I get to this gift or loan, I want you to tell me whether or not you or your boyfriend, whose name is?
Your Honor, currently I do not have a boyfriend.
Who was your boyfriend when Mr. McDougal's property was vandalized?
His name was Christopher.
Whether you or Christopher vandalized Mr. McDougal's property?
Not at all, Your Honor.
Were you ever at his home at the time his property was vandalized?
Not at all, Your Honor.
And on what date was your property vandalized, sir?
On January 29th.
And when you're going to show me, sir, this video, which I will watch, what will I see on that video?
You will see the property that was damaged, and you also see, like, my bed and where, like, everything started.
And what proof to vandalizing that property?
Your Honor, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning with bleach on me, and I seen the plaintiff over my bed with the bleach in her hand.
Did you file a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Miss Hill, in what month and year did you and the defendant break up?
It was July of 2010.
And that was a short time after you gave him this money for the car?
Yes, Your Honor, about 3 months.
And when did you find yourself a new boyfriend?
It was late December, early January.
And when for the first time did you ask Mr. McDougal for this $580 back?
I would say August of 2010.
And was that first request made via email, verbally? How was it made?
Well, after me and Mr. McDougal broke up, we still stayed in contact, and I told him that I wanted the money back verbally as well as via text messages.
Well, I'd like to see the text messages.
The first one.
Bert, hold on to that thing because, you know, if I touch it, it'll...
I tried to fix it a little.
Well, Mr. McDougal, would you have to pay for any of your mother's expenses?
I had to pay for the house and
all right,
some
because
of the
then I'm reading this text message which says, if I can translate loosely, Mom been sick. There's no period there, but I'm putting a period there. Mom been sick. Account was negative. See, I didn't touch it.
Just the top button.
Count was negative. It, period, which no period here. It took my whole check. Then I didn't work over the holidays, but I got you ASAP. That would be Friday, January 14th. Does that sound like something you said, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And before that, you said to her, hit me next Friday, haven't been paid in over a month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. McDougal, it seems clear to me that unless you owed her for some other money, you acknowledge the debt to her for the car.
I thought it was more so that she needed it for, like, she was in school also. So I was going to give her money because she asked me, and she did let me, well, not let me borrow. She gave me the money, Your Honor. So,
Mr.
and I feel kind of bad.
Are you trying to double talk me?
No, ma'am.
Don't try to double talk me. Those texts acknowledged, after you were no longer a couple, a debt to her. Now, I assume the only money she gave you was the money to put a down payment on the car.
Correct, Your Honor.
Ah, wasn't that easier,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. McDougal? Now, the only other question that I have to address, Miss Hill, is whether or not you and the new boyfriend vandalized his property when he didn't pay you this $580.
Your Honor, of course not. First of all, I'm a law student, and I would not jeopardize my career over nothing that's silly. Me vandalizing his property is not going to get my loan paid back any sooner. I didn't talk to Mr. McDougal at all, and this is the first time I've ever heard him accuse me and another person do it. He's always told me that it was me that vandalized his property, and I've always denied it.
Just a minute. He says that he saw you in his apartment pouring bleach, Miss Hill.
I mean, it makes no sense to me, Your Honor. I was actually...
It makes no... Listen to me. It makes no sense to me, actually. But something also doesn't make sense to me. How long were you and Mr. McDougal a couple?
For about 6 to 8 months, a couple, but we've known each other for about 2 years.
And you're an intelligent woman. Tell me, you're an intelligent woman? Yeah. I must assume they're a deck of cards.
I would hope so.
Great. People who are playing with a full deck usually don't accuse the wrong people of destroying their property. When they are assaulted, or their property burglarized, or vandalized, or they're in an accident, they want the right person, the person who actually caused the damage, to be punished.
Well, Your Honor, I think...
Yes. Do you understand that? Are you in law school?
Yes, ma'am.
So that makes sense to you, right?
Yes.
That if somebody assaults you in the street or takes your property, you don't want the wrong person prosecuted for that, because that doesn't make you feel good.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Most of the time. Well, unless what you're suggesting is that sometime on January 29th, 2011,
yes, Your Honor,
Mr. McDougal decided to vandalize his own property.
I'm not saying that.
And call the police and give them your name as the person who vandalized his property. Unless you're saying he did that because he was under the influence of some psychotropic drug or something else, I can't imagine why Mr. McDougal, who you say is an otherwise intelligent man, would accuse the wrong person of damaging his property.
I believe there are ulterior motives, Judge.
Well, third, I'm going to allow you, therefore, to speculate. Give me 3 alternative motives for Mr. McDougal to give the name of the wrong person, giving your name as the person who he saw, not who he suspected, but who he saw vandalize his property.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You can see where she cheated. I want to give her a hand clap for ruining my car. She did a great job.
Should have paid her the $580, right?
Yes.
Hill claims ex-boyfriend Richard McDougal owes for a loan to put a down payment on a car. Richard is accusing Misha of breaking into his home and vandalizing his property.
I'm allowing you 3 speculative motives for him naming the wrong person.
1 would be to get out of the debt. 2 would be because me and his mother, after our breakup, had a very close relationship, and I think he just wanted to be done with me after that. He said...
So he wanted you and his mother to no longer be involved.
Yes.
So he named you as the person who vandalized his property when you weren't the person who vandalized his property.
Yes, Your Honor. And then,
go ahead.
And then 3 would be just plain spite. I mean, I've been pleasant at all, and everything he said via text message has been not the way that we were when we were friends, basically. And this whole countersuit is completely frivolous because, like...
Just a second, it's not frivolous. You don't even suggest to me, Miss Hill, that his property wasn't vandalized.
I wasn't there, Your Honor.
No, just a second. You don't suggest to me that he's lying about his property being vandalized, both his car and his clothes. You're saying to me his property was vandalized, but I didn't do it.
I mean, whoever did it was obviously upset with Mr. McDougal, but...
He says he saw you.
Your Honor, if I was there pouring bleach on his person, wouldn't it make sense to hold me there? I mean, it just doesn't
I don't know. I'm going to ask him. Now tell me what you saw, Mr. McDougal.
Your Honor, I woke up...
And tell me fast. You have 30 seconds.
Yes, I woke up to Ms. Hill pouring bleach on me, and I looked up.
You mean she was standing over the bed, or she was on the bed pouring?
She was standing over the bed.
Over the bed.
Yes.
And you knew it was bleach because?
I smelled it.
And you opened your eyes and you said?
I said, you have to leave now.
And she said?
I don't have to go anywhere.
And you said?
You have to leave now, and I grabbed her and I forced her out the front door. I felt like it was a trap, like that she wanted me to more so put my hands on her.
And then what did you do?
And then I went back upstairs and I still smelled bleach everywhere. So that's when I opened my closet and I noticed that all my clothes were bleached and my video game system was short-circuited.
At what point did you call the police?
After I went outside and seen my car.
And tell me about your car.
My car was severely keyed and was bleached, and with the bleach, it ruined the paint. So it's like...
Is that when you called the police?
Yes, Your Honor. I actually went to the gym with my friend to calm down a little bit because I was really, really upset, and I didn't want that.
Should have paid her the $580. Right?
Yes.
Okay, now you want to show me your video?
Yes, Your Honor. On the first part of the video, you can see that's my bed, and that's actually where I was laying at, and that's where the bleach was poured on me. That's my PlayStation, and you actually can see the bleach, was hard to see on the video, but there's liquid all around. That's the console where the CPU is, so it was no longer working. It's fried. It won't even cut on at all. And these are majority of my also ruined, but as you see, it's an Avery shirt.
If you had all your clothes in one place neatly, then you would have known what was ruined and what was not.
Some of them kind of fell off the hanger one day. It's too much bleach. There's also one more part that shows my car on the video. We keyed my car. You can see where she keyed it, and it's horrible. I would have given her a hand clap for ruining my car. She did a great job. It was nothing that you would want to drive. It's the bleach, and it oxidized the paint, so there's no way that I can just get it painted over. I'll actually have to get it stripped all the way down and then double paint it from scratch. And it's keys from the side, on the hood, the back, everywhere.
Okay. Mr. McDougal, prior to this happening in January, had you had any harsh words with Miss Hill?
Yes, Your Honor, I have had a couple of them.
I mean, immediately prior.
Immediately prior, it was while my mom was sick.
Okay. And what were the words that you exchanged? What was that about?
I actually told Miss Hill that she was very deceitful, and I did not appreciate her, and I actually, I didn't say it that nicely. I said that she was very deceitful and that I kind of hated her.
Why did you accuse her of being deceitful?
It's just the type of person she is, Your Honor. I didn't want her and my mom to be friends, which was totally bogus. I actually told her when my mom was sick, I asked her, as a personal favor, to actually go see my mother because I knew how close they were, and I knew that would make her feel better.
How long had they been close?
They've been close for over 2 years.
But not since childhood.
No, not your childhood, but just because of our relationship, her and my mother were close.
I got it. Is your mother all right?
Yes, ma'am. She's doing a lot better.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You are a third-year law student, so you know the quantum of proof here in a civil proceeding
is preponderance of a doubt.
No.
Well, in Texas it is.
No.
Misha Hill claims ex-boyfriend Richard McDougal owes for a loan. Richard claims Misha owes for destroying his property.
Miss Hill, I have to tell you, my gut reaction is, first of all, I do believe that he borrowed this $580, and if he didn't borrow the $580, and if, in fact, you did give it to him, he subsequently acknowledged it as an amount of money that he planned to return to you.
Yes.
I also believe you vandalized his property or know who did.
Your Honor, I have no...
Miss Hill, that's what I believe.
Your
now,
Honor,
as you know, you are a third-year law student, so you know the quantum of proof here in a civil proceeding.
Well, in Texas it is.
No. It's either beyond a reasonable doubt, or preponderance of the evidence, or clear and convincing evidence.
Yes.
Those are the three different standards of proof.
Your Honor, my
the lowest
witnesses...
standard of proof is a preponderance of the evidence, more evidence than not.
Yes, and
Now, You have a witness?
I have both witnesses who were with me the night that Mr. McDougal alleged I was with him.
I'll hear either one of them because I assumed that I would be listening to a carbon copy if I heard them both.
Not at all, Your Honor. I mean, the incident that actually the night...
Just a second. Don't tell me. Which witness do you want to testify if they were both with you?
Miss Mejia was with me the night of the incident, and we were actually at Chris's birthday party.
Just a second. And I'll hear it. Come on. No, stay there. Stay there.
Sorry.
The last name is?
Mejia.
Do you know the night we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
What date was it?
It's January 29th, Your Honor. It's a Friday.
Are you asking me?
No, it's a Friday. Well, yes, it's that Friday.
What Friday?
January 29th.
And you were at a birthday party?
Yes, ma'am.
Whose birthday party?
Chris.
Chris was? Boyfriend
at the time, yes.
How many people were at the birthday party?
A lot. I would have to say about 50 to 75.
Where you were at Link Lounge at Chris's birthday party with Miss Hill?
Yes.
What time did you get to the party?
We got there around 11:30.
Who got there at 11:30?
Miss Hill, myself, and another friend, Miss Mitchell.
So you got to her boyfriend's birthday party about 11 or 11:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Where had you been prior to that?
At my house.
With whom?
With the 3 ladies that I mentioned previously, Your Honor.
You all live together?
No, we all go to my house usually to get ready, and then we'll leave because I usually take much longer than they do to get ready. So they come to my house, and we left from there.
What time did Miss Hill get to your house?
It must have been 10:30.
Okay. She got to your house at 10:30.
She got to my house at 10:30. We went to Link Lounge around 11:30. We hung out, partied for a little bit, celebrated a birthday party around 2 o'clock when it was time for us to leave.
What time was your property vandalized?
4 o'clock a.m.
4 a.m.?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the 29th?
Yes, Your Honor.
I can keep going.
Irrelevant. What you have to tell me is irrelevant.
At 2 o'clock, we lost our car keys. Then we realized that we didn't have them.
That's on the 30th. This happened at 4 a.m. on the 29th.
It happened at 4 a.m. on the 30th.
On the 30th.
It happened.
He maybe made a mistake on the date because then that would be Thursday night for Friday morning.
No, listen to me very carefully. That's what the police report indicates on the time.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
That's what the police report indicates on the time.
And if it was Thursday, then even better because I was actually spending the night at her house that day.
Now you can sit down.
Your Honor, I have the text message from Mr. McDougal. It was the Saturday 30th. He sent me a voicemail that morning, and I still have that voicemail where he told me that we were even because he thought I had keyed his car. And
report accepted by the police 1/29/2011 at 20:26 hours.
Your Honor, that doesn't make any sense because I work. And no,
I spent enough time.
Oh, I'm sorry, the 29th was a Saturday.
Spent enough time.
It was a Saturday morning, Your Honor. It was a Saturday morning. It was a Friday night. We went out that Friday night. Just as Ms. Mejia said, we went out that Friday night. That Saturday morning, Mr. McDougal called alleging that I had vandalized his property.
He may have. But your witness is testifying that something that happened where you were at 10:30 that night.
She has her dates mixed up, Your Honor.
Well, I don't listen to me.
We went out that Friday night.
She didn't sound as if she was confused.
It's just
she didn't sound as if she was confused.
Your Honor,
the difference that you owe him is $1,320. I am giving him the amount of his car and property damage with the $580 that he owes you. Judgment on the counterclaim in the amount of $1,320. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
There was no proof that I vandalized his property.
I seen it with my own eyes.
I mean, everybody has a twin. That's what they say.
She might.
I mean, I'm sad that it happened to him.
That's a pretty bad excuse.
I was clearly mad at him.
It was a little scary waking up with bleach on your face.
I had nothing to do with him except I wanted my money back from him.
At the end of the day, it's over now, so hey.
Have you had trouble with Miss Michelson?
We don't like each other.
Bullied at school?
She told me, I heard you wanted to flatten my tires. I would never have done that to her car.
Or was she the true tormentor?
I said, tomorrow, be glad you have air in your tires. I got up in her face and I pushed her back.
You put your hands on her.
I'm trying not to make conflict.
You started the conflict. Troublemaker.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The ruling. Lisa German is suing her daughter's classmate, 18-year-old Quincy Michelson, for keying her daughter's truck during an argument at school.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 4 on the calendar in the matter of German versus Michelson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in.
Go stand next to your mom.
Seated.
Your first name is Dory, is that right?
Yes.
Dory, this young lady goes to school with you?
Correct.
You were driven to school in your mother's car. That's why your mother is the plaintiff, because you're 17. Your mother really knows very little about this case other than what you've told her. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So the complaint alleges that Miss Michelson keyed your car. Miss Michelson says she did not do that. So I have a few questions for first you and then actually your mother.
All right.
Have you had trouble in school previously with Miss Michelson?
Not really so much. Like, we all grew up together, so we just have like minor little things, like we learned to stay away from each other because we don't share the same interest, so to say. So.
But you haven't had difficulty, or you haven't had difficulty with her?
Well, we have had difficulties, just like we don't like each other.
Okay. Is there any reason you don't like her?
No.
Is there any reason you don't like her?
No.
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 Miss Michelson keyed your car.
It was after school, and I had proceeded to go to my vehicle after classes was out, and I had noticed Miss Michelson's car was parked next to mine. Didn't think nothing of it. I proceeded further to get into my truck. And
what kind of car do you have?
I have a Ford Ranger. She proceeded to come up to me, and
Was she in her car? Or
no, she was out of her vehicle.
She came up to you, so you were in the driver's seat?
Not in the seat yet. I'd opened the door and put my stuff inside. And she had come up to me and approached me about a minor conflict that we had.
Look at me. What did she say to you?
She told me, I heard you wanted to flatten my tires, and I told her it was a joking matter between my friends, and someone had overheard in the classroom.
No, just a second. Let's go back. You may give your mother double talk. Don't give me double talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
She said to you, I heard that you wanted to flatten my tires.
Correct.
And you said to her, what?
I said, no, Quincy, I was only joking when I told it to my friends.
So you had, in fact, said to your friends out loud that day, I'm going to flatten, your name is Quincy?
Yeah.
Quincy's tires. You had, in fact, said that.
Correct.
Did you tell that to your mother?
Yes.
When?
After I had come out, we were at the sheriff's department. I told her the whole situation at the sheriff's department.
Because your mother leaves that out. Your mother wrote the complaint. She leaves that out of the complaint. I find that interesting that you left that out of the complaint.
That they had had a verbal altercation prior to?
No, she didn't have a verbal altercation. That your daughter, in front of other people earlier that day, said, I'm going to flatten Quincy's tires.
Quite frankly, Your Honor, my daughter didn't inform me of the tire flattening incident until after I had filed the small claim suit.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. So your daughter right now is lying to me, Miss Germain. I want you to understand that. Because I asked her a very specific question. I said, when did you tell your mother about the tire flattening incident? And she said, right after the incident when we went to the sheriff's department. But that was clearly a lie that she just told me, right? Either you're lying to me or your mother's lying to me. You tell me who I'm supposed to believe.
Well, Your Honor, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I do, in my mind, I do remember verbally expressing it to my mother, the whole situation.
Your mother says that you didn't let her know that you had said to friends earlier that day, I'm going to flatten her tires, until after she had filed the small claim suit, which was well after the incident. Now, let's move on. You're not being disrespectful to me. It's not being disrespectful. Either you're lying or your mother's lying. That's something you joke about when you say, I'm going to flatten somebody's tires. So she came up and she said to you, I hear you're going to flatten my tires. And you said to her, no, I was just joking?
Yes, correct.
Go ahead.
I told her, no, I was just joking about the matter, and that it was nothing to be taken seriously about it. And it was between me and some friends as a joke, just because, she drives a nice car. You mean it'd be funny to come outside one day and she'd had flat tires, and it was just, I found it a little joke. I would never have done that to her car.
Go ahead. So?
Well, she had told me, she's like, well, don't effing touch my tires and don't effing touch my car. I said, Quincy, I'm not going to touch your car, and nor have I touched your car. And at this time, she's leaning on the end of my truck. And
what do you mean leaning on the end of your truck?
Like leaning on the truck.
Where? On what part of the truck?
On the bed of the truck, right above the tire, like the top of the bed.
In the front or in the back?
The back.
So she was leaning on the back. Go ahead.
Okay, so I proceeded to leave, and I'd gotten into my door, and I sat down and started my engine, and she had came over, and...
So you got into the car.
Yes.
Closed the door.
No, not closed the door. The door was still open.
You got into the car, started the engine with the door open.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And as I was about to shut the door, going between myself and the door, and she's like, well, I'm just letting you know right now, don't effing touch my car. I said, Quincy, I'm not going to touch your car. Just be glad you have air in your tires tomorrow. And she's like, well,
just a second. I'm not going to touch your car. Just be glad you have air in your tires tomorrow.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And she's like, well, what's that supposed to mean? I said, tomorrow, when you have air in your tires, be glad you have air in your tires.
Keep going.
And she's like, well, if you touch my car, you're going to regret that day you pull into the parking lot because I'll do some serious damage to your vehicle. And I said, Quincy, you need to leave me alone. Like, seriously, I told you I was joking about it. Just please leave me alone. Well, I'm just telling you, don't effing touch my car. And I had said, please, Quincy, please stay away from me.
Keep going.
And she wouldn't stay away, so she wouldn't leave. I said, please, just go away. Leave me alone. And so she wouldn't move. So I got up in her face, and I pushed her back, and then I shut the door, and I locked it. And
so you got out of the car.
I stood up, yes.
No, just a second. You got out of the car.
Yes.
That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
And you put your hands on her.
Correct.
And pushed her.
Correct.
When you pushed her, what happened to her?
She moved backwards enough so I can shut my door and lock it so I can leave.
And?
I had locked the door, and I put my truck, and I just ignored it, and I was continuing going backwards, and she took her keys out, and she keyed the whole...
Listen to me, took her keys out.
She took her keys out and keyed the side of my truck.
And?
I just drove away because I didn't want to stop and start more stuff because I just needed to leave the situation. I'm trying not to make conflict.
You did make conflict. It's your conflict. You started it. You started the conflict.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I would not believe everything she tells me. Everything she tells me is not true. Understand?
And later today.
What other kind of work do you do?
At the time, that was the only thing.
At that time?
Yes, that was the only.
She was on unemployment. It'd be just my pleasure to throw you out.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 17-year-old Dory Williams says classmate Quincy Michelson keyed her truck during an argument. Quincy denies the charge and claims Dory is an instigator.
Now, you started the conflict. She had a nice car, so you say to your friends in a crowded school area, I don't know what room you were in, cafeteria, gym, whatever, that you were going to flatten the tires in her car. But it was just a joke. It's a joke. And you said to her, when she approached you and said, you say you were going to flatten my tires? You said, yeah, it was just a joke. And then you said to her, you ought to be happy if you have air in your tires tomorrow. You don't think that that's starting a conflict?
No, ma'am.
Sit down. You don't think that that's starting a conflict?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You're absolutely right, Ms. German. Quincy, what happened with the key and her truck?
My keys were in my purse, and I was standing where her door was open, and she kept saying, like, that I was a homewrecker, and that I was and that no one likes me at school, and a whole bunch of, like, mean things towards me. And then whenever I was like, okay, well, this is just stupid, like, you're butting into my business, because she was mad at me because Tim is my boyfriend, and apparently she's friends with his ex-girlfriend. And so she's butting into our business, saying that I'm...
Got it. Now it all becomes clear. How come you left that out? How come you left that out?
I
stand next to your mother. Now, you have to know what happens. You unfortunately have this thing that when... How come you left that out? That your friend used to be his girlfriend, and that other than the tires business, you had had other conversation with her that day.
I didn't find it relevant to the situation.
You didn't. Now you can sit. Troublemaker. Did she tell you all this, any part of this? Just when you told her, just wait there and I'm going to take you to the police?
Actually, I was at work, and when she called me, I told her to go down to the sheriff's office, and I would meet her there. I met her there in about 20 minutes.
And when you got there, did she tell you this whole story?
What she had told me was she had had a verbal fight with Quincy, of which I didn't know who Quincy was. I've never met Quincy. And I said, and what happened? And she told me that they had had words. She tried to leave the area. She was in the way of the truck, in the doorway, and she couldn't close her door. Shoved her out of the way, closed and locked the
Put her
truck
hands
door.
on her.
She tried to break the window out, and when she couldn't break the window out, she keyed the side of the vehicle.
I want to see pictures of the truck. Oh, she didn't do this damage. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is this where you have marks?
Yes, ma'am. I have corresponding photos, the photos behind
You
it.
may, but I'm telling you, if she keyed the truck as she was pulling out, maybe. But she didn't do this to the truck. No way.
Your Honor, when I met my daughter at the sheriff's department, when they told us it was a civil matter and we needed to go back to the high school and file the complaint, I took an envelope out of my vehicle and I brushed the shavings that were still attached to the scrape marks off of the vehicle and put them in an envelope.
I'm telling you, she did not do all this damage to your truck. I don't care if you took the scrapings off. Do you have the scrapings from her key?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Right. You know, my problem is, did you key her car?
No.
Did you put any mark on her car?
No.
I'm not so sure. That she didn't put some mark on her car. I think your daughter probably did the rest herself. I think your daughter is a big troublemaker. Big time. So I think that your daughter put her hands on her, and I think she probably took out a key and went like this, but she didn't cause this damage to your truck. Okay. How much is it going to cost you to paint over your truck?
The keyed damaged amount from the estimate is $980.01.
She's going to pay $80. Your daughter's going to pay the rest. Her fault. Her event. Her threat. Her putting her hands on somebody else. All of that is her. And if she did assaulted by your daughter, she touched it once, because that makes sense, because your daughter's got the truck in reverse, and this requires somebody sort of hopping along and making marks on the truck. That's not one of these. So I would not believe everything she tells me. Everything she tells me is not true. Understand? Mm-hmm. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $80. That's all.
As far as excuse, you may step out.
I don't have problems with Quincy. You know what I mean? She's a classmate. She's a fellow graduate of our school. I mean, I have total respect for her.
Every day at school, I get a dirty look. I get called a name.
If I could have done anything different, I wouldn't have made the joke.
She just is a bully and likes to get in people's business.
The situation just would have been better off if I didn't even make the joke about it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Maddox versus Graham. Step forward.
Rebecca Maddox is suing her former babysitter, Miranda Graham, for the return of wages paid in advance. Rebecca claims Miranda never fulfilled their contract.
Ms. Maddox, Ms. Graham was your provider for babysitting services for your 2 children.
Yes, Your Honor.
And your arrangement with her was that she was paid in advance.
Yes.
Your kids were with her for a while. You paid her for the following 2 weeks, and she quit.
Yes.
You want your money back.
I do.
Now, Ms. Graham, you were correct. And you acknowledge that you didn't work for those 2 weeks.
Correct.
You will then explain to me why she's not entitled to her money back.
Well, 2 weeks prior to me quitting or not watching her kids anymore, there was problems that came up where the kids decided that after a couple weeks of me watching them that they weren't going to listen to me. They didn't have to. They didn't like me.
I don't care about that. If you didn't want to watch the children, you would have said, I don't want to watch children anymore. You have to tell me and get to the point why you accepted the money, you didn't perform a service, and you quit. And you contractually are able to keep that money. Explain it to me. Not that the kids didn't like you, they didn't listen to you, they were rowdy. I don't care about that. That results in, I don't wish to watch your children anymore. Please find another service provider. That doesn't require taking the money and then saying, I quit. So now give me a reason that I can understand. You look like a reasonably intelligent person. What's the reason?
Well, another big reason is that she broke the agreement that we had made when we first set this up. which was that normally it's $50.
Don't tell me what normally is.
Okay.
How did she break the agreement or breach?
Food and snacks.
That's a lie. Just a second. If you speak out again, I'm just going to throw you out, and then I can go on to my next case, which probably is a little more interesting than this. She was supposed to provide food and snacks.
Yes, Your Honor.
And she did not.
No, she did not.
When, for the first time, did you complain to her that she was not providing appropriate food and snacks for her children?
Approximately a week after that.
A week after what?
After the talk that me and her had with the agreement that she would pay $35 a day and the food and the snacks.
Okay. And she didn't?
Correct.
And what did she say?
She tried to say that this was so long ago, I can't even remember what our conversation was.
Then you just return her money.
She just made excuses.
Just return her money. She paid you $280 for 2 weeks' worth of babysitting services, Miss Graham. You cannot accept that money and then quit the job. Do you understand? She was paying you $35 a day.
Correct.
To take care of 2 children. You were picking them up after school. She wasn't picking them up at your house until 10 o'clock at night, plus work on Saturday. That was really, really a bargain. I don't know, what other kind of work do you do? What other kind of work do you do?
At the time, that was the only thing.
At that time?
Yes, that was the only.
She was on unemployment. What kind of work were you doing at the time?
I was not working at the time.
And you were supporting yourself how?
I was getting unemployment, and then I started working, watching her kids.
Okay. So you were getting that cash in addition to your unemployment? Right.
That was
got
after the unemployment.
I got it. Okay. Good. You owe her money, $280. That's what you paid her?
Yes.
You can't accept her pay in advance and then quit. Do you understand?
I understand. I wanted to explain further, but...
Listen, there's no explanation. You were working for her at a bargain rate, but you were getting paid in cash. You were not reporting it to unemployment. I got it all. I got the whole story. She was supposed to provide food. She didn't provide food. Then what you do is say, I'm not going to take care of your children anymore. You don't accept 2 weeks' salary, which is paid to you in advance, and then quit. That's an unacceptable way of doing business. It's unreasonable and dishonest. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $280, that's all.
Excuse me, step out.
My children have been in daycare since they were in diapers, and they've done fine throughout. But for her, for some reason, it just didn't work out.
They just wouldn't listen. They were picking fights with my son.
I told her that when my children don't listen at home, they go to their room.
They were in the neighborhood throwing rocks, throwing stuff at people's houses, just completely unruly.
They get through.
This continued, that I wasn't going to watch her kids no more.
She would tell me that she didn't want my children to not like her.
Her daughter told me she hated me.
She called my daughter up.
Her son was in the living room and threw a toy and hit my TV.
She called me a bee and a...
I'm not going to watch kids anymore.
She went crazy.
Did you go outside, sir, once you were inside the gym?
Me?
Is guilt written all over his face?
I went around looking for him, and I seen him in my car.
Stealing your money.
Or is it just the jitters?
He was in the gym. He was acting weird.
Were you acting weird, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Are you acting weird now?
I mean, you're very intimidating, so I'm a little nervous.
You're right.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy. 19-year-old Eduardo Martinez Jr. is suing his former friend, 18-year-old Justin Majerick, for stealing $600 from the glove compartment of his car.
Order. All rise. Versus Majerick.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Mr. Martinez, the defendant was a friend of yours. According to your complaint, you went with the defendant and someone else to a local gym to work out. Prior to going to the gym, your mother had given you some money. She gave you some money from a tax refund that she had gotten. I assume your mother is here and you're going to be able to establish that to me. Now, you and the other friend went inside to the gym to work out. You left your wallet and money inside the car. It is your claim that when you came out, you saw the defendant reaching inside the car, having broken the car window and stealing your money.
Correct.
You want him to return that money because he ran down the street and got away. The defendant says that while you ditched him at the gym, he did not take your money. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Majorek, how old are you, sir?
18, Your Honor.
Ever been in trouble?
Yeah, in the past. Yes, in the past.
For what?
You know, just stupid knucklehead stuff.
Like, other than this, what other stupid knucklehead stuff?
I don't know, like skateboarding where you're not supposed to be skateboarding,
What
talking
else?
back to a cop.
Talking back to a cop?
Yeah, like just being like a stupid teenager, you know?
Well, not all teenagers are stupid, sir, to the extent that they get into trouble. What else told you to stop?
Nothing else.
No trespassing, no burglary.
Well, yeah, trespassing is what I mean by like skateboarding where I'm not supposed to, you know?
I'm not talking about skateboarding where you weren't supposed to. I'm talking about trespassing on somebody else's property, like in their house.
Nah.
So only skateboarding where you weren't supposed to. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Interesting. Okie dokie. Now, Mr. Martinez, on what date did your mother give you this money?
March 18th.
At what time of the day did she give you this money?
4 o'clock.
Where were you when she gave you the money?
I went to go pick Justin up. He called me and he asked me to pick him up so we could go to the gym. So I went to pick him up. I told him I got to stop home because I got to go get money for my mother.
Where had you been?
Oh, school.
And you had to stop home to pick up cash from your mother?
Yes, because she was going to help me.
Mr. Martinez, just follow where I'm going, sir. Hold your head still, madam. Try. Now, your mother has, in the safety of your home, this cash. You wanted to go and pick it up and keep it in your car while you went to the gym. So you stopped home to pick up the cash. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
And then you were going to the gym. And where were you going afterwards?
I was going to bring the money to go pay my insurance right after. I was going to go right.
Nobody goes to the gym for half an hour. Nobody goes to the gym for half an hour. Where were you going to pay your insurance?
Right down the street from the gym.
So the insurance company is right down the street from the gym?
Yes, it is.
So now explain to me, sir, why you didn't go to the insurance company and pay the money before you went to the gym?
Because I was getting rushed to go to the gym.
Who was rushing you, Mr. Martinez?
I had the witness, Amanda, waiting at the gym for us, and we were running late because my mom had to go cash the check.
What was she waiting at the gym for?
She was waiting to work out with us.
With whom?
With me and the defendant.
But he didn't go to work out with you.
Yes, he did. He called me and asked me to pick him up to go to the
Yes, but he didn't go inside.
Yes, he did.
And then he went outside.
After acting suspicious for a little while, I seen he was acting suspicious, so I went around looking for him, and I seen him in my car.
No, that all sounds very dumb to me. You go and pick up $600 in cash, you leave it in your car, and the reason you stopped at your house to pick up the cash was to pay for your insurance, which you leave in the car, and the insurance company is right down the block, so you could have gone in, paid for your insurance for 5 minutes, so you don't have $600 in cash in the car. Does that sound kosher to you?
I have teenagers, Judge. It sounds very...
Now, Miss Martinez, now you can stand up and show me proof of the money that you gave him.
Your Honor, he has papers right here from my tax return from last year.
Tax returns, right. So you got a check. And show me when you went to cash that check.
Well, I had an H&R card to deduct money every time you need it. But I lost my card, and they did not have a copy of the documents when I deducted money.
H&R Block didn't have a copy of the thing where you deducted the money?
I didn't save the papers, I'm sorry. I should have saved deduction papers. But this is what I received back.
I don't care what you received back. I want to see that on or about March 18th, you deducted $600 from your account. That's what he says was taken.
I don't believe I have them.
Yeah. Now you can sit down.
Okay.
Now I'll see a police report. What happened to this case, Mr. Martinez?
It was cleared. The criminal charges were cleared.
Cleared? You mean they were dismissed?
Yes.
Do you know why?
It was taken to trial, and I didn't show up to the one court case.
Did you show up for court, sir?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a lawyer?
Yeah, public defender.
Now, I don't know how much money was in the glove compartment because I have no idea. Only the person who took money out of the glove compartment would know whether it was $600 or less than $600, because she has no proof as to what actually she gave him. Now, how much did you owe on your insurance?
$550, so it was about $50 extra that I had left for myself she gave me.
Okay. Now, why did you go outside, sir, once you were inside the gym?
I went outside because I got told that I wasn't allowed to work out, that he could only have one guest. So instead of just waiting around, I ended up going to get some coffee.
You were told by someone at the gym that you couldn't work out with him, even though he was a member, because he could only have one guest?
Yeah, correct.
Do you remember who told you that?
Nah, just one of the employees there that, like, checks people in.
Had you gone in at all to the gym? Were you working out for any length of time before you were told to leave? Yes.
Oh, nah, we just arrived there, and I got told that he was only allowed one guest, so I basically was just supposed to just chill around, I guess.
Is that what happened?
No. He got into the gym. The one guest, he was the one guest. He got in the gym, and I have the people from the gym will back up my story that he was in the gym. He was acting weird because my personal trainer was there, and she said he was acting weird the whole time.
Were you acting weird, sir?
No, Your Honor, and she was not even there. It was a total different person.
Are you acting weird now?
Well, I mean, you're very intimidating, so I'm a little nervous.
You're right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you need glasses?
Well, I got them, I just don't like wearing them.
Why?
It make me look like a little geek, you know?
You could put on glasses. It's better to look like a geek than a moron.
And later today,
you were playing golf in the street, and you hit the plaintiff's car with a golf ball. But your mother said that it was the plaintiff's fault because she went through a stop sign.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Eduardo Martinez Jr. says his former friend, Justin Majerick, stole $600 from his glove compartment.
Now, let's assume for the moment that you were, in fact, told that you couldn't work out because only one guest was allowed. Can you see me well?
Yeah. I got bad eyes, so I gotta, like, kind of...
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Do you need glasses?
Well, I got them. I just don't like wearing them.
Well, you can either look like a little geek or you can look peculiar. I'm telling you, when you go like this, you look peculiar.
All right.
My husband's mother, rest in peace, she's no longer with us, but she used to walk around like this, but she was 90. Looks
probably
odd.
where I'm gonna be when I'm 90.
Looks odd, sir. Wear glasses.
I'm trying to get contacts with her. I can't, get past the whole putting the thing in your eye.
I can't either, so you could put on glasses. It's better to look like a geek than a moron. You have your choice. So if you need glasses, you should wear them.
Okay.
Now, were you pretty annoyed when you were told that you had to wait outside?
Of course. Who wouldn't be, You're supposed to go work out with your boy.
The answer is yes, you were annoyed. Really destroying this pen. If you wore a belt, you wouldn't have so much trouble.
I knew that was coming.
Well, it's true, right? You see, put on a belt. Want to see I have a belt on? That's what belts do. They keep up your pants.
Are you sure?
Yeah, also a needle and thread. Now, at what time did you stop by Mr. Martinez's house that day? Was it 3:30 or quarter up at his house? He said he picked you up and then stopped by his house.
Not that I recall, no. From my knowledge, I think it was just like a straight shot from my house to the gym.
Did you stop at your house before or after you picked him up?
I stopped there after I picked him up. I told him I have to go home because I need to get money from my mom for insurance.
Do you know, Mr. Martinez, even though your mother doesn't have the requisite proof that would make me really comfortable, I do have a tendency to believe you, sir. And it's not just the glasses. I want you to trust me on that. It's that your story doesn't make sense to me. And even though I would, as a normal adult, take the $600 and go and pay the insurance and not put the money in the glove compartment in the car, I think that Bird actually, although I'm not letting him make this decision, but I like the input. Bird's probably right. Teenagers are stupid. They might stop over because the girlfriends are waiting. And he says, well, I'll go and take care of it later and put money in the glove compartment of a car, whereas somebody with a little more experience wouldn't do that. He reported the incident immediately to the police on the same date. He identified you as the person who took the money. You were a friend of his. Clearly, you were a friend of his because he stopped by to pick you up to go to the gym. And unless there is some suggestion that he's psychotic, why would he report that his friend stole the money? To believe him. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $600. Thank you. That's all.
Pardons are excused. You may step out.
I said, Justin, we were screaming. We said,
Surprised. Surprised it went that way.
what are you doing in my car? And he ran off.
I kind of figured she would, pick out them little lies.
Because he owed money for drugs.
If I was a drug dealer, sir, I'm pretty sure I'd be into the cashmere and...
Because he was well known around the neighborhood for that.
A little nicer slacks than these holy jeans, you feel me?
He was supposed to be a friend. Friends don't steal from each other.
Oh, no, never. If I consider you my friend...
Well, I'm done with him. He can talk all the stuff he wants around the neighborhood, but...
Then you're gold. I got your back.
Obviously, I won, so...
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Twilley versus Ledford. Step forward, please.
Linda Twilley is suing neighbors Karen Ledford and her son Martez for damage to her car. Linda claims Martez dinged the front end while hitting golf balls in the street.
Miss Ledford, you live with your son?
Yes.
Who else lives with you?
Just my son and I.
Are you a working lady?
I'm retired, Your Honor.
What kind of work did you do?
I was an educator, teacher, consultant, education coach.
An education coach?
Yes.
For how long?
I taught for over 30 years, and afterwards I started doing some consulting and became a coach.
And you taught in a school?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's where most people get their education, in a school.
No.
Right? To
No.
teach math or science or English or history. You go into a classroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's where people learn, in school. And what's your first name?
Martez.
Do you play sports?
Yes.
Do you play baseball?
No.
Soccer?
No.
Football?
No.
Basketball?
Yes.
Now, you wouldn't think of going into your mother's classroom with your team and playing basketball, would you?
No.
Why is that?
It's not the right place.
That's right, because the right place to play basketball is on a...
Basketball court.
You understand where I'm going with you?
Yes.
Well, why don't you tell me where I'm going with you?
You're saying golfing in the street's not the right place.
Right. Golfing in the street is not the right place.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you know that they were using the thoroughfares as a golf course with real golf balls?
They were supposed to be using plastic balls.
There we go.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Linda Twilley says neighbor Martez Ledford dinged her car when he hit a golf ball in the street. Martez says Linda ran a stop sign.
Because this is what this case is about, and I read your mother's answer, and I knew she could only be half serious about it because it was sort of ridiculous. You were playing golf in the street, and you hit the plaintiff's car with a golf ball. You don't deny that you hit the plaintiff's car with a golf ball and dented it, but your mother said in her answer that it was the plaintiff's fault because she went through a stop sign and was going too fast. And if she hadn't been going too fast, you would have been able to complete your swing. That's what it says in the answer.
Yes.
Without hitting her.
Yes.
You know how ridiculous that sounds now, right? We went over that. You play basketball in a basketball court. You don't teach history in a football stadium. You play golf on a...
golf course.
Right. Not in the street. Because that's the wrong place to play golf and the right place to drive a car. Right?
Yes.
Correct?
You are correct, but there were circumstances involved.
There could be no circumstances. But for the fact that your son was playing golf in the street where he had no business playing golf, he would not have damaged the plaintiff's car. Not the other way around. If he hadn't been doing the wrong thing by playing golf in the street, then we wouldn't be standing here today. And you weren't there.
I was at the house.
You were not there.
That's not in the street, no.
Correct.
He has a witness and he has individuals who was with them.
You know when teenagers tell the truth?
All the time.
When they're sleeping. Period.
Yes.
Period. Do you know, Miss Ledford, that he plays golf in the street? Did you know that before? Look at me.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know that before that your son and his friends shot golf balls in the street where people walk, where cars ride. Did you know that they were using the thoroughfares as a golf course?
I knew that they were using the yard at times, to use the yard.
Whose yard?
Our yard on the chart.
Now, you knew that they were using your yard to play with real golf balls? We're not talking about those wiffle balls that had holes in it. You believed that they were playing with hard golf balls in your yard?
They were supposed to be using plastic balls.
There we go. Now, let us assume that's true. Were you using a plastic ball when you hit the plane?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
So now, Miss Ledford.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you have allowed your son to play with regular golf balls in the yard of your house?
No.
Because it's dangerous.
Yes.
Because he's a big boy, his friend is a big boy, they're probably very strong, child can be walking by, they didn't aim in the right direction, they sliced to the left, they zigged to the right, and all of a sudden you have somebody who's brain dead, right?
Yes.
Now, would that be the fault of the child who was maybe crossing the street, not in a crosswalk?
Well,
let's say, let me ask you this question. You're an 11-year-old child and you're crossing the street and you're not in a crosswalk, and your son is playing with hard golf balls in the backyard of your house and slices a ball and hits the 11-year-old in the head, causing a coma.
Yes.
Brain dead. Now, was it the child's fault that they're crossing, not on the crosswalk?
No.
Perfect. How much is the damage to your car?
$400, Your Honor. I brought pictures. Would you like to see?
I'd like to see pictures in the estimate. See how you embarrassed your mother? Your mother thought you were playing with plastic golf balls. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $386.96. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Young lady ran the stop sign.
I did not run the stop sign.
He had someone watching out.
That's the most ridiculous argument.
To make sure everything was clear and nothing was in the way.
And that's the only thing he could come up with.
Plaintiff ran the stop sign.
The mom should hold him responsible.
That he'll have to use better judgment next time.
Instead of letting him get away with this ridiculous excuse.
People need to obey the stop signs also.
He shouldn't have been doing it. Period. End of story.
Your loving family allowed you to stay in jail for a week. There's something else going on there that I don't know.
Judge Judy's about to find out
Who paid the bail?
She paid the bail as far as I know.
what this jailbird is made of.
What did your mother say when you called her?
My mother said that she would have nothing to do with this. It was a lesson learned, and I respect my mother for that.
I'm glad you respect your mother. You can respect your friend for bailing you out.
Judge Judy.
The courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
Amanda Jackson is suing her former friend, 25-year-old Kendra Kaywood, for the return of bail money she posted after Kendra was arrested for credit card fraud.
That's case number 570 on the calendar in the matter of Jackson versus Kaywood.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Miss Kaywood, how do you know the plaintiff?
We were friends.
And you were arrested for what?
When I was 19 years old, I was arrested for transaction fraud. I was 19. I'm now 25. I haven't done anything since.
When were you arrested that Miss Jackson was responsible for getting you out of jail?
I was arrested on the night of October 15th, 2010.
What was that for?
I was actually in a restitution program, and I lost contact with the person who was handling the case. And I did
So you stopped making restitution?
I went through a lot of things during that time where...
Listen to me. I want to know what you were arrested for. You were arrested for parole violation because you were
I was never on parole.
Probation violation.
I was never on probation.
Well, you had to have had some sort of supervision if you were supposed to make restitution.
In that diversion program, I did keep contact with them, and at one point I was supposed to go to court. I was not presented with the paperwork, and I did not know that I was supposed to appear in court. So I did have a warrant out for my arrest that I did not know about.
So you were arrested on a warrant for a 4.5-year-old transaction fraud case.
Correct.
What kind of transaction fraud?
Credit card.
And how long did they hold you in jail?
I was in jail for a week.
And how did you get in touch with Miss Jackson?
After the weekend, after I went in front of a judge, I contacted her on the phones in the jail.
You made a collect call because you had to
I had some money with me, and I purchased a calling card while I was in jail.
Did you make a collect call to her?
No, I did not. I paid for the calls. I had money in my pockets when I was arrested, and I purchased the calling card from the jail.
It's interesting. Did she make collect calls to you?
She made 3 collect calls to me.
Who else did you call?
I called a friend of mine. I called my mother my mother.
Called your mother. Let's start with
did.
your mother. You're 25 years old. Let's start with your mother. What did your mother say when you called her?
My mother, from the beginning, said that she would have nothing to do with this. She didn't have anything to do with me getting in the trouble. She wasn't going to have anything to do with me getting out of the trouble, which I respected. That's fine.
Well, but that's sort of harsh. Because if what you're telling me was you were arrested when you were 19, you're now 25, you haven't been in trouble with the law since then, that's kind of hard.
She's been there for
You
me
got
since.
into this trouble yourself, get yourself out of this trouble yourself. If you've been arrested once when you were a teenager, that sounds sort of harsh. Are you her mother?
No, I'm not.
No, that's kind of hard-nosed, yes.
Her mother actually, during this case, her mother had put her out of the apartment that her mother was renting for her. Her mother had took back her car. Her mother had took off her cell phone.
My mother was not renting my apartment.
At that point, I took her in my home.
After this all happened, my mother was not renting my apartment. My mother was a co-leaser on my apartment with me, but she was not paying for anything. She was a co-leaser.
Let's see. Whose car were you driving?
A car that me and my mother purchased together.
Who was supposed to make payments on it?
There were no payments. It was paid for flat out.
Where's the car now?
It wasn't anything.
Where's the car now?
We donated it. It was broken into while I was in jail because it was parked on the street, and it was donated.
What was your bail?
$350.
Who paid the bail?
As far as I know, I did not know who came to get me out. She paid the bail as far as I know, but she also had access to my Facebook page because I asked her to contact some of my friends through my Facebook page and get money together.
What kind of work do you do?
Right now I'm a student.
Student where?
MCTC College. I just enrolled. I will be starting in the summer semester.
So you don't go to school? You don't do anything? Well, what do you do now?
I lost my job when I was in jail.
What do you do now?
Right now on the side.
Who do you live with?
I have my own apartment.
Who pays the rent?
I pay my rent.
With what?
My mother helps me. My family does help me, but most of it I pay.
So your mother pays your rent?
She helps me, yes. My family
helps me. Well, how do you, if you don't work, Miss Kaywood, how do you live?
With the help and the strength of my family. My family helps me.
All right, so your family supports you?
Yes, if that's how you
Well,
put it.
evidently they weren't being very supportive of you when they decided not to bail you out of jail.
It was a lesson learned. And I respect my mother for that because it showed me how to be.
I'm glad you respect your mother. You can respect your friend for bailing you out.
I never said I didn't appreciate it.
And stop double talking. How much was the bail?
It was $350.
Let me see.
Oh, then why are you suing me for $1,000? And as far as I know, some of my friends did put
I
money
don't
up.
care what you think you know. Bring me. I don't care what you think you know. You think somebody else put in this money?
They did.
Bring them on as a witness. Very carefully. On what date was she bailed out? No, look at me. On what date was she bailed out of jail?
To my understanding, she was bailed out on a week after, the following week after she started.
Date that she was bailed out?
The 22nd of October.
Show me where you wrote a check, money to for her bail.
I gave money to her.
How much did you give her?
$80.
Show me where you got it from. Sit down.
Ma'am.
Sit down.
Listen.
Sit down.
How you going to ask somebody a question and then tell them not to sit down? You
very
ask me
easily.
a question.
Listen to me very easily. When you come to court, what you come to court with is proof. She says, and she has the paperwork, that she put up $350 in bail. She has her documents, she has her bank statement, she has the bail bond.
Right.
Listen to me very carefully. You say you gave her $80.
Cash.
And all I said to you was, show me where you got the $80 from. And you went like this. I said, sit down. That's it.
I think that's
now you can go out.
And I will.
Perfect.
Thank you.
She double talks just like you do.
You don't ask somebody a question and then don't say nothing about it. That's crazy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If what you tell me is the loving family allowed you to stay in jail for a week, there's something else going on there that I don't know.
And later today...
Do I scare you? You don't know me well. Who is this?
This is my wife.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Amanda Jackson says former friend Kendra Kaywood owes for a loan for bail after she was arrested for credit card fraud. Kendra is countersuing for harassment.
Now, when she came to bail you out because you called her, she says 3 times collect. Nobody else in your family would bail you out. You have no source of income that I can tell. You're supposed to say thank you. Here's your money back. How many children do you have?
I have no children.
I have none. How many does she have?
She has 3, and I told her on the phone, Christmas is coming. You don't need to do this on your own. I said that to her. I stated that to her.
Just a second. She has 3.
It's not my problem.
And Christmas is coming, and you don't need to do this for me. Is that what you said?
I did say that to her.
Just a second. Do you know that you could stay in jail if you want to, even if somebody bails you out? And say I don't want their bail?
Why would I want to sit in jail when the money's put up?
Absolutely right.
Who would want to sit in jail when the money's put up?
Absolutely right. Then you pay them back. When they have 3 children and you have none, and you have no source of income, and you look perfectly healthy to me, and you have no job, and your family was clearly disgusted with you, disgusted enough to let. And I don't understand that. And I don't understand that unless you've really done a number on your parents.
Which I have not.
Because if what you tell me is that you haven't been in any difficulty since you're 19 and now you're 25, and your loving family allowed you to stay in jail for a week to teach you a lesson, there's something else going on there that I don't know. But I know that you owe her $350.
She got me fired from my job, and she's countersuing for harassment. I never harassed her.
Just a second. Where were you working?
I was working at the Mall of America.
Okay. And who fired you?
My boss fired me due to her coming to my job.
I'll hear your boss, so your boss can tell me that the reason your boss fired you is because of her, when you told me that the reason you lost your job was because you went to jail. That's what you told me 3 minutes ago.
I got a part-time job after I got fired, when I got out of jail.
Just a second. And where was the part-time job?
At the Mall of America.
Fine. Bring me your boss and tell me that the reason you got...
He didn't want anything to do with it.
Then I can't help you.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I have a restraining order on her.
Great.
And I had that because she threatened to come over to my house.
Never.
Listen to me. I'm not dealing with that. I'm dealing with a $350 in bail.
But I'm afraid of her. I missed work. I'm petrified.
If you're afraid, listen to me. If you're afraid of her, you got in what month?
I got that in January, Your Honor.
If she violates the protective order, we're now in April, then what you do is you call the police and have her arrested for violating, listen to me, for violating the protective order. If you are afraid of her, that doesn't have anything to do with money. That has to do with being vigilant about following through with your protective order. Now, since January, when you got your protective order, has she violated the protective order?
No, she hasn't. But what she has said, she said that she was going to...
in the amount of $350. That's it.
Your Honor.
That's it. That's it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I bailed her out of jail. She came and stayed with me for a week because her mom pretty much put her out.
I feel that my character was attacked.
She had nowhere to go. She had nothing. Nobody was willing to help her.
She came to me when she needed friends. She has no friends.
She pretty much bailed on me as soon as I bailed her out.
This restraining order, I had no idea about this restraining order.
I have 3 kids. I don't have time for, to deal with her.
Honestly, I should be the one with the restraining order against her because she has a past of violence.
On Facebook, she threatened me.
She created a fake Facebook page.
She threatened to come over to my house.
Contacting friends and giving them false information about me.
She's crazy. She threatened to cut my throat. She was my son's godmom.
Why would I threaten the mother of my godchildren? That's ridiculous.
That's a user, abuser. She's a loser.
The people who know me know the type of person I am.
She's crazy. She's crazy.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Arevalos versus Faltham, step forward, please.
21-year-old Dustin Arevalos is suing 21-year-old Rachel Faltham for the return of a down payment for a truck she was selling.
Mr. Arevalos, how long do you know the defendant?
Not very long at all, Your Honor.
Not very long. Give me a time. How long do you know her?
A week.
And how do you know her for 1 week?
I responded to a Craigslist ad. I wanted to check out a truck I was really interested in, so we talked maybe like a few minutes over the phone, and then we met up a few days after.
So what week are you talking about, sir?
Mid-January, I called her on Craigslist.
No, listen to me. I know that you've got a story that you want to tell me. I'm starting backwards, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Arivalos. How long have you known the defendant, is my question.
Not at all, then. Just the week that I called her and spoke to her on the phone. So I've known her since January.
Good, since January. Let me see the ad that you answered on Craigslist.
I do not have the ad.
I have the ad.
Okay. When did you buy this truck, Miss Fatum?
My parents bought it in 95 after 6 months use, so January in 95.
And have you had it ever since?
Yes, it's been in my family.
Not your family, you.
It was still under my mom's title until she sold it.
So when you posted this ad on Craigslist, you did not have title to the car?
Correct.
You answered this ad and made a contract with the defendant to purchase this truck. For how much, sir?
$4,500.
That's a statement, right? $4,500.
Yeah.
Do I scare you?
No, ma'am.
You look frightened. I don't know why.
My wife frightens me.
Your wife frightens you? You don't know me well. Who is this?
This is my wife.
Yeah.
You frighten them?
Sometimes. I can be mean when I'm angry.
Okay. So you made a deal to buy the truck for $4,500. According to your complaint, you gave the defendant a $1,500 deposit, told her you'd get the rest of the money for her in a couple of weeks.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And that was the beginning of January.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you return with the rest of the money?
January 3rd, I told her I can meet up anytime. Anytime she's ready to go, I had the money.
When this was posted?
Or February 3rd. Sorry, ma'am.
Just a second.
Your Honor.
This is dated April 11th, 2011. What is this?
Yes, Your Honor, because Craigslist ads only stay up for a week at a time, so you have to go into your account and repost the ad every week. So I had to go into the history, and I didn't want to repost it since I do not have the truck anymore, but I have the bill of sale, but you can't repost it, so that isn't the actual ad. I mean, that's the same exact one that he saw.
That's not the ad you posted.
It's the same exact terms and everything.
No.
Okay.
When I ask you if you have a copy of the ad, then you say either yes, I have a copy of the ad, or no, I don't, but I have something that I prepared for court that is the same verbiage. Then I take it and I throw it away because this is not evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
So nobody has a copy of the Craigslist ad?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Now, so you posted an ad on Craigslist for a truck that you did not own.
Ma'am,
that was owned by your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave her a $1,500 deposit.
Yes, ma'am.
For whatever reason, this deal was not consummated within a month's time.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
You say it was because she didn't have title. She says it because you didn't come, that it was non-refundable. Wait a minute, the deal was not consummated. When was the truck sold?
After the contract was void.
When was the truck sold?
The 4th of March.
By whom?
By my mother.
Why not by you?
Because I do not have the title to the truck.
That's right. You do not have the title to the truck, so you could not make an arrangement with the plaintiff to sell it to him.
Your Honor, I've been driving this truck since I was 16.
I don't care whether you've been driving in it, living with it,
Her and I had a verbal contract together for me to sell the truck.
You don't have a verbal contract with your mother.
The reason I told him I didn't have time is because I had to organize time for him to come up to where I live to meet with my mother.
Listen to me carefully.
Yes, Your Honor.
You took his $1,500. He did not get the truck. He did not get a truck that you had no ability to sell to him. Your mother sold the truck to somebody else. Let us assume that all that is true for a moment. Your mother's not here, right?
Correct.
If your mother sold the truck, I'm just throwing this out to you, not that it makes a bit of difference in this case, but if your mother sold the truck for $4,500, you had no loss. The owners, cumulative owners, you, your mother, your father, I don't care who else. When he agreed to give you $4,500 and gave you $1,500, how did he give you the $1,500?
In cash.
In your house?
No.
Where?
We were at the bank.
We met at a McDonald's gas station, and then he test drove the truck, and then we both...
So why do you say no? I said he saw the truck. You said no.
At my house.
I don't care where he saw it. I don't care if it was in your house or on Pluto.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he test drove the truck. And he gave you the money. Did you tell him the title is not in my name?
Yes, I did.
She tell you that?
No, I didn't.
Of course
know
not.
that. No.
Of course not. That's a lie. That's a lie. You wouldn't even have told me. You have to give him his money back. Ms. Fowden. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. That's all. Step out.
Oh, he's not excused. You need to step out.
I did tell him that my mom had okayed this whole deal.
I kept calling her, texting her, let's meet up, and then finally she texted me saying, you know, my mom has to be there.
I was going to have him come to my house and have my mom sign over the paperwork just like I sold the truck. That's how I sold the truck.
I was like, why does your mom have to be there? She's like, it's under her name. And I'm like, you know, this is fishy. I want my money back.
He seemed like a great kid, and I thought I could trust him with this.
I told her I had the money, let's meet up, and she just kept putting it off, beating around the bush.
He said that he would have the money, so I decided, you know what, I'll go out on a limb. I'll make an agreement with this guy, but I told him this money's non-refundable.
We're going to buy the truck.
He just said, you know, it isn't going to work out, and I can't come up with the money.
I don't know what she's saying, but I had the money in 2 weeks. All my tax money, I had it ready to go.
On 3 separate occasions, we scheduled 3 separate dates to meet with her, and every time there was a reason why we couldn't.
I think it's a lesson learned.
Definitely lesson learned. I'm, you know, consult her before doing anything.
You just don't want to deal